Good evening. Today is Tuesday, April 26th, and this is Amateur Radio Roundtable. I'd like to welcome everybody to the show tonight, and especially our shortwave listeners listening on WBCQ out of Monticello, Maine. This is an international shortwave station that's on 5130 kilohertz. So if you are tuned in on shortwave and listening, we'd love to have you on our webcast tonight. You can watch the show, you can watch the video. We also have a chat room that you can join in. So if you're near a computer and you have internet, you can go to w5kub.com, w5kub.com, and you can also either listen by shortwave or join us on the internet. We'd also like to ask if you're a shortwave listener or even a ham out there, send us a signal report, how well 5130 is coming in tonight. You can send that signal report to Tom at w5kub.com. That's Tom at w5kub.com, and we will really be interested to see where you are and what you had to say. I'd like to ask everyone tonight, if you will, join our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group. At the top of our page, there's a link. I believe there's a link to join Facebook. We just rebuilt the, I don't think it's there. We rebuilt our website here in the last few weeks. I think there's a link possibly at the bottom of the page for Facebook. So just click on it, join our Facebook group, and that way you can keep up with what's going on our show and what live broadcasts we've got coming up and so forth. So join us there. You can also follow us on Twitter. And we're 24 days away from Hamvention. That's our big show of the year. We'll be going to this one of the largest ham radio conventions in the world. We'll be live for about 5 days. That is going to start Wednesday, May the 18th. We will go live. You will see us drive in the truck for 10 hours on the way up there. So you never know what you're going to see. You may see us get pulled over by the police. You may see us get gas. We just don't know what's going to happen there. But you can tune in and have fun with us. That 4 or 5 days we'll be live. And we're going to give out, we've got about 60 prizes that we're going to be giving out to our viewers. If Hambot calls your name, we're going to give you a prize. Prizes are anywhere from very expensive Comet CAA 500 Mark II antenna analyzers to auto antenna tuners to antennas. We've got everything we'll be giving away, so that's always fun. Astronaut Doug Wheelock will be with us as our co-host at Dayton this year. He and Kathy give prizes out like crazy. In fact, last year I had to go over there and ask them to slow down because I thought they're going to give away 60 or 70 prizes in about 30 minutes. So we like to kind of stretch them out in the show. Maybe every 15 minutes we'll give a prize away. You have also seen that recently we've started asking for donations to support the webcast. We have been webcasting special ham radio events now for about 12 years, and it's starting to get very expensive. I'm retired now. You know what that means, you retired guys. The Dayton Hamvention webcast alone is going to cost us approximately a minimum of $3,000 to put the webcast on. And for you guys that follow us, you know that we work hard for you to put the webcast on. We don't shop, we don't walk around and look around. Most years I come back and I don't even spend a quarter on anything for me. So sometimes I wonder, I could take that $3,000 and buy a nice amplifier or something. But it's hard work, but we enjoy it. That's the reason we do it. And we've always done it mostly out-of-pocket expense. Several of you people have helped us with some donations. We really appreciate that. The internet alone this year is going to cost $700 for 3 days. We have been lucky the last 4 years to have Exceed in a satellite internet uplink in. They're not coming back this year. So we had to contract internet access from different people. Again, $700 for 3 days. We talked them down. They wanted more than that. So you can see the expenses can get pretty tough to put on a show like this. So if you can donate $10, $5, $50, whatever, there's a donate button at the top of the page. Please click on it. Give what you can. If you can't, I understand. There's a GoFundMe button at the top left. If you want to click on that GoFundMe, you can. But we want to do the show. There are so many people that can't make it to Dayton. You know, think of 12-year-old hams that are in some little town somewhere. There's no way they're going to make it. There's people that are sick. There's people that it's just too far to travel. They don't have the money. They're at work. They can't get off. So, you know, this is for those people to actually have the Ham Fest, or a Ham Fest experience, and actually win prizes. So that's coming up. One of the things we are anticipating doing, and we mentioned that in our Facebook group this week, is we are going to probably drop the email service that we have. We use a service called MailChimp that sends out emails every week to about 6,000 hams, notifying them what's going to be on the show, and you know, the guests and links and all that. It's been really nice to have. It gives us a lot of statistics. It tells us what links you click. It tells us when you open your email, if you don't open your email. So it's a really neat program. You can subscribe, unsubscribe automatically. The problem is it's costing us just a little under $1,000 per year for that email service. We've used it now over a year, and I'm not sure it's helping us with the show any. To remind people and get more people on. So we're thinking about dropping it. I'm not sure what we're going to do. We've got Facebook, we got Twitter, we got so many other ways on social media to announce what's coming on our show. So we may revert over to some of the social media type ways of getting the message out to you. As I mentioned earlier, Astronaut Wheelock will be with us in Dayton as our co-host. He'll be with us Friday and Saturday. If you're up there, be sure and come by and see Doug, get your picture made, get an autograph. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised. Doug let me know that he's going to be in town this week in Memphis, and I'm going to be with Doug for 2 days this week to talk about having him on our show here one Tuesday night, and also talk about what we're going to do up at Dayton this year. So that's kind of what we're doing there. We've got a couple really neat guests tonight. Our first guest we're going to be talking to is Marty Sullaway, KC1CWF. And the way he remembers that is chicken with fries. He's from Waban, Massachusetts. He's 14 years old, been a ham a couple years. He's a big DXer. He's a contester. He builds some of his equipment. He likes building antennas, and he's involved with a number of programs that bring people into the ham radio hobby. Marty is currently the founding president of Eastern Massachusetts Contesting Club, and he loves mentoring people. So how you doing here, Marty? Welcome.
I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, great. I'm glad to have you, and you're looking good there. Let me see. Let me put your name below you here. All right, let me get that down here. There we go. And here's his website, chickenwithfries.com. Hey, just real quick, how do you come up with a name like chickenwithfries.com?
Well, there's a story behind it.
Well, tell us.
When I first got licensed, I got on 2 meters before I ever got to HF or anything like that. And one day somebody says, "Oh, hi Marty, KC1CWF. Hey, let's call it Chicken with Fries," and it stuck.
Okay, well that's cool. A lot of people have. I've got a friend here in Memphis, WA4HFN. He goes by WA4 Hot Friday Night. So there's some really interesting things. When I was growing up in a ham, I had, my call is KUB. And, you could say, kick your buddy. We use kick your buddy sometimes, or other things like that, So anyway, so it's kind of neat, the phonetics that you can use with that. So Marty, what got you interested in ham radio at the age of 12?
Well, one day I was browsing the internet, and there's this thing that pops up called ham radio. Then I go, that's cool. What's that? And I read the Wikipedia page, and I said, oh, this looks interesting. Maybe this is something to dabble in. And I was probably, I think, in 6th grade at the time, and when I had more time on my hands. And I gave it a try. I studied for a license just by myself, taking a few practice tests. I didn't really know any other hams, so it was just a matter of studying the license manual, and then I took the technician exam, and at the exam is where I actually met the first ham I ever knew. So I got into the hobby by myself, and then met hams and learned more about the hobby. I think when I got into it and when I got licensed, I had no clue what it actually was. But I've enjoyed it now.
So how big is the town that you live in?
Oh, pretty big. It's a suburb of Boston.
Oh, okay,
where I live.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, when I grew up and got my license at 16 back in the 60s, my town was a pretty big town, 900 and something people. I was the only ham there. So yeah, for some people it's tough to get your ham license when you don't know another ham, but it looks like you took the initiative and went out there and did all the right things, and you met hams and got your license. And so what license do you have today?
Currently general, and
Okay.
I was gonna take my extra test a few weeks ago, and I got to the exam site, and they said I need to see your ID, and I said, oops. So I've yet to take my test.
Oh man. Okay. Well, you'll get it. You'll get it soon. Okay. Well, I'm sure you'll do well on the test. So you're involved in a lot of things. I'm not sure where to start here. Let's see. You started a youth club, didn't you, to promote contesting with youth?
Yes. So when I first got into the hobby, I went to a test to take my license, take the license test, obviously, and the test was at a club. I didn't really know anything about the club, but I took my test there, and immediately after, a few of the club members, after I passed, they came up to me, shook my hand, and said who they were, and it turned out they were a great club that in Brookline, Massachusetts, called the Clay Center Amateur Radio Club, which is a youth-based club, and their goal is to get kids licensed and interested in the hobby. So I joined there, and I met a lot of friends in that club, a few of which I'm very close with today. But as we discovered in the club, the club got a lot of kids licensed and focused on a lot of VHF and UHF activities, and I got quickly on my own into the HF bands as well as contesting. So I wanted to create a way for kids to be able to get into contesting, because when I did it, I found a club, a great contesting club, which I'll get to in a second, but I wanted to make a way for kids to be able to learn how to contest with other kids. So I started this club, the Eastern Massachusetts Contesting Club. The board is all other kids, and our goal is to get kids who are already licensed, so we're not trying to license kids, and then have contests during radio contests. Bring new people into the hobby who maybe are just got on 2 meters, or have been on HF once in a while, and show them radio sport and contesting and just the basics, so maybe they can have a chance to get more into contesting and see if it's something they're interested in.
Okay, now I think you told me you're responsible, or your organization there brings in about 100 new kids into the ham radio each year.
Yes, the Clay Center Club, the club that licenses lots of youth, mainly for it's part of a school that I don't attend, but that club licenses quite a few kids every year. And then that's the club where I find a lot of the members who then join the club that I'm the president of currently. And we've hosted a few. I just founded the club in the fall with a few of my friends, and we've hosted a few small contests, mainly North American QSO party, as well as the November sweepstakes contest, and invited kids over and showed them contesting. And so far, we've gotten at least 3 kids who had never been on HF before and are now building their own HF stations.
Well, I know one of the things that you like to do is, and you mentioned, to help people discover the HF experience. And, you know, there are a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with this, but a lot of people go out, they're recruited, they'll take a few days studies, they'll get the tech license, they'll get them a $40 handy-talkie, and then they kind of get stuck there. You know, they don't take that next step. And I think you are instrumental in helping people, even adults, understand that HF experience and what it brings and how exciting that part is.
Yes, I am. I'm lucky to be part of a program that's been led by a few key players, mainly Jerry Hull, W1VE, who is also VE1RM, if I got that all right. And this all came out of a event that happened at the New England Division Conference Convention, Hamfest, last August, where there was a bunch of stations remotely controlled over the internet there to have a special event station at the convention. In the past, they had RF on site, but they brought a portable tower and set it up. And they realized that they were spending more time setting up the station and building antennas and troubleshooting than they could actually celebrating the special event. So they used remote stations all over mainly the East Coast to bring ham radio to the Hamfest. And there we realized that it was possible to have great HF operations over the internet to train people who are into the to get into HF. So I actually discovered the club I'm currently in at this conference by sitting down at one of the remote operating positions, and I operated for a while. And then I was able to talk to a few local hams, which become my Elmers, and now really help me in the contesting game. So since then, Jerry Hull came up with the great idea, acknowledging what you just said, which is how many technician class operators there are currently. Ham radio licenses in the U.S. are at an all-time high, but at the same time, the amount of operators on HF are somewhat dwindling. So our goal with this program, called Discovering the HF Experience, is to bring those hams who maybe get on 2 meters, or they do MCOM, and there's nothing wrong with those things, or maybe they make a QSO or 2 at the GOTA station, they get on the air station at field day, into HF, because I'm not sure if you remember, but building your first HF station and learning how to talk on the lower bands can be quite a struggle. So what we've done is developed a program to allow people to try their hand at HF, as well as we tested this idea in Manitoba, Canada, as well as Framingham, Massachusetts, putting on a afternoon class with short talks on different parts of the HF experience, and then at the same time have stations operating positions in the same room where people who may not be familiar with HF can sit down at a radio over the internet, so we don't have to worry about sending any of that up, and people can be mentored with experienced HF operators. So this year at the Dayton Hamvention, the ARRL offered to host this event at the ARRL Expo in the Hamvention. So there'll be 4 HF operating positions available for people who maybe aren't experienced at HF to come sit down and operate some great stations all over the U.S. and be mentored by some of the best in the hobby. some of the really, really top-notch operators will be available to help people who maybe have never made an HF contact before do that this year at Hamvention. So I know you'll be there, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, we're going to be there, and of course we're going to try to swing by the operations there and show the new HF station they're setting up this year, and we want to make sure that you get by and see us at our booth there. Just looking at the chat room there, one of your friends, let's see, it doesn't scroll up now. I think you talked about it a minute ago. W1VE is on here in the chat room, and others talking about you. And I see Katie in there, WY7YL, and there's Rich in there, KY6R. And Rich reminds me of Heard Island. Of course, we've done a lot with Heard Island the last 3 or 4 weeks on our show. Now, Heard Island was very difficult for many people to work. I was one of the lucky ones. I worked them. But here you are, a general, 14 years old. So here's the question. Did you work Heard Island?
I did work Heard Island. Did I work them on 40-meter phone one of the last nights of their operation? Yes, I have VK0EK in the log.
Wow. Tell us a little about your station. Now, let's see. I got a picture here. I think this is this your home station?
That was a home station I had previously.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But very similar setup now. I have dipoles and verticals mainly, and a 4-square and 40 meters I'm currently building. And I have a Cushcraft A3 tribander, which I'm in the process of putting up a tower. But currently it is on the ground, and for contests I pull it up on a rope and into the air and just leave it pointed at Europe typically. But on 40 meters I have a dipole and this 4-square which I'm currently building. On 80 I have a dipole, and on 15 and 10 I have assorted antennas. But my antenna farm is constantly changing. That's just this week's creation, but the fun thing about HF is you can always be experimenting with new antennas.
Yeah. So I was looking at the chat room. You've got the chat room jumping there right now. So, you speak very passionate about ham radio, and you remind me of people that are much older than you that have a lot of ham radio experience. And here you are with just 2 years as a ham, and you basically did it yourself. Are you taking anything special in school or any special courses or anything like that?
No, I'm not, and I don't think it was myself. I did get licensed by myself, but I think from now it's been far from that. To get where I am today, I've needed a lot of help, and I've had some really great Elmers that's been able to help me. Although you can get licensed and get your ticket and maybe get on 2 meters by yourself, if you really want to do well, I think it's actually really helpful if you can have somebody who you can spend hours on the phone with every other night and annoy the heck out of them.
Yeah, well, you've got some great followers in the chat room there. Let me make this offer to you right now. If you have time at Dayton, come by our booth, and we're going to sign you up as one of our co-hosts, and we're going to let you have the microphones and run with it while I go get a hot dog or something.
I'll do that.
Will you do that? Will you interview
Sure.
people, and will you interview people and talk to people when they come by?
Of course I would.
All right. Well, hey, that'll give me a little break, Wow. Okay. Well, let's do that. Let's see. So, are you involved in? Let's see. You do some building. You said you mostly built antennas, I think. You've got a tribander. You told me it was on the ground. When are you going to get that up in the air?
Well, it's sometimes up in the air. On a rope, I hang it in the trees for contests.
Oh, okay.
But I have a tower, but it's horizontal on the ground right now.
Okay.
And some people tell me for some reason that the tower doesn't work very well on the ground. I haven't quite figured that one out yet. But I'm just working on getting a permit and getting the funds, and eventually, once I have the money, I'll be able to pour a base and make the tower go vertical.
So you must have some very helpful parents here into supporting you with this hobby to let you lay towers in the backyard and maybe help you out with radios, or I don't know, maybe you got a job on the side and you bought those yourself. I don't know.
I've been lucky with work. I do, but I fix computers, and that helps definitely to for this hobby. And it's fun, and I appreciate how supportive my parents are. Although they may complain from time to time lately, I know it's all laughs and giggles, and they let me string up wires all over our backyard to the non-ham. It looks like I'm probably running an NSA station out of the back of my house.
Well, yeah, here you are at 14. You're already making money repairing computers and things. Wow. What do you? Let me ask you this: well. What do you want to do when you get older? What kind of career do you want?
I'm not sure yet. I'm only in middle school, so I have a few more years. Probably something electrical engineering, broadcast engineering. I really like this RF thing, so who knows?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
You'd make a good one. Let's see. I was just looking at my notes here and see what else. What else is going on in your life now about ham radio? Anything?
Just a lot of work trying to get youth involved and new people in the hobby. So we're doing a lot of work for this Discovering the HF Experience program in Dayton. And I'd encourage anybody who's going to be at the Hamfest to swing by the ARRL Expo, and you can do yourself a favor and come operate some of the best stations in the world to learn how to contest. So if you know what you're doing and you've spent a lot of time on HF, I'd encourage you to come by and maybe take a look. But I'm not sure it would be really helpful for our hobby to come operate. But I think there'll be a lot of cool stuff there. And there's tons of information on the internet. If you go to hfradio.rocks, I believe is the website, or you just Google Discovering the HF Experience Dayton, you'll get a lot of great information.
All right, let's talk a little about your station again. I just thought of something. You worked Heard Island on 40-meter sideband, and there's a lot of big stations working them. So I'm sure you didn't work them on 100 watts there. And do you actually have power there at your house?
I do have power. There's an alpha in the shack.
You got an alpha in the shack? Oh, man. I don't even have an alpha.
Well, I'll be honest, the alpha is not mine. I've been fortunate enough to have some great Elmers who are actually lending it to me. So I have an old Alpha 374A that does a great job in the shack, and I really like it.
Yeah, I think the alpha, that's the one you can lay the brick on the key and walk away, isn't it?
Well, you could, but well, I'm not sure how it would do once I blow the tubes. But
so you can run. So you're able to run legal limit there from your station, and you told me, I think too, you also operate other people's stations too, right? You kind of move around a little bit.
I do. I've been quite fortunate, especially for contesting, to be able to use some really great stations in the area. And I think that's all thanks to my clubs and my Elmers who have been able to get my foot in the door at some great stations. And then also recently, I was invited to use the stations as part of the remotehamradio.com network of remote stations all over the world, all over North America, actually. I don't use those as much. I really do like using my own home station. And I've been very fortunate in the area. There's some amazing stations here in Massachusetts, and their hosts are even more amazing. And that they let me come use their stations. It's really quite great.
Well, I need to get up that way and meet some of your friends that have all that equipment that they loan you. Hey, the chat room was just mentioning. Here's one thing you don't have yet. You don't have that brick to put on that Alpha key. They're saying in the chat room that Alpha actually sells a brick on their website to put on the key. What do you think about that?
Who knows? Maybe. I'd be intrigued to see what makes their brick so special compared to normal brick. I do have the key. Let's see if this will work. I do have the paddle, but I don't have the brick to go along with it right here, I guess.
Oh, okay. All right. So you've also remoted your own station. Tell us about that.
I have. So there's a lot of great ways these days to do ham radio remotely over the internet. But a lot of people think operating your station remotely is a very expensive and complex endeavor. So I have a very simple setup. I just have my radio connected to my computer, just normal radio control, and then I use for my to get the audio from where I am in the world to my radio. I use how I'm talking to you right now, Tom. I use Skype with the radio and voice-operated transmit Vox, and when I talk, it keys the radio, and RF goes out over the air. And then I use a piece of software called TeamViewer, TeamViewer, if I could spell correctly.
Right.
And I can control the desktop of my computer. So there I can use software like N1MM, a logging software to control the frequency my radio is in. And then virtual front panel software of my radio so I can tune the knob and see the meters move. So I've actually invested no money and only a few hours of my time to have a fully remote station on the air. And then the only part of the equations where I had to invest money to make my station remotable is I spent $30 on a relay board to allow me to switch my antennas remotely.
Oh man, you've really you've done it big time there. Now, Marty, I would think. And what grade are you in right now?
8th grade.
Marty, if I was you, I would just go ahead and skip the next four grades. I would go straight into college right now, spend maybe 1 year, year and a half, get you a degree in electrical engineering, and move on at age 16, man.
Ask my parents about that one.
They don't want you to do that?
I don't know. I like my school. Let's enjoy my childhood while I can, right?
See, you could start working at about age 17. You know, pull you in a job making $250,000 a year. Work for maybe 6, 8, 10 years, and then just retire. You could retire at age 26, man, and then just play ham radio all the time.
Better yet, maybe I'll retire, and then I'll come. You can come up here, and we can do videos from Massachusetts.
Well, hey, maybe I need to sign you up to be a control operator on our webcast here, because as you notice, I'm having to switch everything myself. And if you ever watch what is some of the other webcast, they've got control centers where people actually do that instead of the person talking. So sometimes it gets my mind off the interview. But anyway, yeah, we'll have to talk about that. Be sure and come by in Dayton, and we're going to put you to work there.
Yeah, I'll come visit you.
What are your top 3 favorite DX stations that you've worked?
That's a hard one. I'm a contester. I do a little bit of DXing, but that's not my main thing. 3, I think, we've been very lucky this year with a lot of the big DXpeditions on the top 10 list that have been on the air this year. Just in the last few weeks, we've had Heard Island, and we've had South Sandwich and South George Islands, and Palmyra, and Wandanova. All very rare DXCC entities on the top 10 list on the air. So I've been able to work a few of those, but I really don't have a favorite. That's a hard question, but working Palmyra, the Palmyra Atoll 1,000 miles off of Hawaii was a cool contact and a hard one.
So, ham radio has probably helped you to know where all these places are. Now, do your peers at school in 8th grade know where these places are? When you talk to them, do they think you're a nerd?
I'm not sure, but I can tell you I definitely I've learned a lot of geography, and to be able to point the beam in the right direction, you have to know a little bit of geography to know that don't point the beam south for Europe.
Yeah, and even this time, it was a little difficult for me to know exactly. Now, I don't have a beam up here. I didn't put my beam back up, but I put a delta loop up that I built 30 minutes before I worked Heard Island, and I wanted to orient it where it best transmitted toward Heard
Right.
Island, and it was a little difficult for me here figuring out exactly the heading for Heard Island here, but we did, and there's this thing called circle bearing map, which is really good about helping people to. You're right. You don't aim where you think Europe is. The shortest path is a different direction. So that's kind of.
And it's also knowing when to aim short path or long path or skew or whatever you want to do. So there's a lot of geography in ham radio.
So the chat room had a question. What's your next conquest? I'm not sure what that means, but you're intelligent enough to know what the word conquest means there. I haven't figured it out yet.
I don't know exactly what they mean, but my next goal, I guess, would be to just keep doing this and have a great time. I'd like to do some more contesting, and I've been privileged to do it with some great operators at some great stations, and just have a fun time before I have to go to college and maybe not be able to do as much of this or get a job and have to pay the bills. So I'm having a good time while I can.
Well, you're a very mature person. So I mean, here's a question we asked all of our guests here. Do you have a girlfriend?
Not currently.
All right. Well,
the way I look at it is, girlfriends may cost a little bit of money, and ham radio does as well. So gotta pick.
Well, I can tell you, I don't know. I would think ham radio would cost a lot more than a girlfriend right now at your age, but I don't know, man. I mean, you've got it all together. Wow, wow.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to add about the remote thing that I mentioned a minute ago is besides just ham radio on the internet, there's a lot of great media on the internet these days, just like what you're doing, and social media and ham radio is just becoming such a big thing these days.
Yeah, okay. Well, Marty, it's been a very interesting discussion with you tonight. I've really enjoyed it, and I want to have you back on again soon.
I am.
Maybe we find a spot on here, and maybe we get a spot on here for you to interview other youth. We have a little youth segment or something.
Sure, bring on some new youth. That'd be very fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, I'm going to say 73 to you. I think we hit a lot of questions out of the chat room, and you got a very interesting story. And we're going to follow up with you here in about 4 weeks at Dayton. Come by. I promise you, we're going to put you to work. We're going to give you the microphone, and the cameraman's going to have the camera aimed at you, and you're going to have probably a 2-hour slot all of your own to interview people, and that'll give me a little break. So, well,
who knows?
I don't know.
I'll jump in the chat room here in a minute. So if anybody has any,
jump in the chat room and turn the video on and watch. Our next guest also has a tie to Heard Island. He's a cartoonist that drew a lot of the cartoons, and we're going to have him in here in just a moment. So, Marty, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks again for everything. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I can tell by the chat room that everybody really enjoyed this segment tonight. It was probably one of our best ones. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
All right, 73. All right, that was an interesting, very interesting and a cool interview. Let's see if I can find our next guest here. Trying to get our next guest on here, Jeff Murray. I think we've got Jeff, but I don't have his camera. Jeff, can you turn your video on?
Yes, I can.
All right.
Got to start.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, you're looking good there tonight. Looking good.
Thank you, sir. You
just
too?
stand by a minute, and let me make a quick announcement here again to everybody out there, and then we'll pick you up and we'll talk a little about you, Jeff. So.
Okay.
Again, we are simulcasting all of our Tuesday night Amateur Radio Roundtable shows on the famous WBCQ International Shortwave Station out of Monticello, Maine. And that station is called The Planet. If you're listening on shortwave, you can join our webcast if you go to w5kub.com. That's w5kub.com. And you can watch the show, watch the interviews, and you can also check in the chat room. If you're out there listening tonight, send us a signal report. You can send us a note to tom@w5kub.com, and we'd love to hear from you. So, next we've got an interesting fellow on here, somebody I met recently. It's Jeff Murray, K1NSS. Let me go ahead and put Jeff's picture on here. Let me get some live shots of Jeff in here. Here we go. There's Jeff. Boy, you combed your hair and everything tonight, man.
Oh yeah, I got a haircut. I got the whole name. I visited my stylist, who I'd like to mention is Diane Riley at Experience the Different Salon in Stone Ridge, New York. She does a marvelous job. I recommend her. I want to say hi to my mom. Got my stylist now I got to say hi to my mom, and I got to say hi to my good friend. Shout out to my buddy Ken, WA4SQM, who gave me the where is it there? Somewhere back there. The lucky. I'm a little dyslexic, so forgive me, but the Drake 2B. To my right, that's my lucky.
It's over your left shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever, one of those things.
Well, look, let me tell you, that stylist did a great job on you because you're looking good there. You have any other? Did you finish all your shout outs, or you got any more left?
I have one more. I have one to Mike and Phil and Dick at the K9YA Telegraph, where I have recently been appointed cartoonist. And I'd also like to say, I want to say thanks a lot, Marty, I feel like I'm having to follow Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland, and I don't know who else, but Marty was, it's such an entertaining and interesting interview, and Marty, you're something else, and you're great stuff, and I really
I'll tell you, that was, oh man, he blew the doors off. Let me get this introduction out here. I want to tell people who you are.
Okay.
We're talking with Jeff Murray, K1NSS, and Jeff is a ham radio cartoonist. He also designs special QSL cards, custom QSL cards. You can have him draw you something up there. And I first met Jeff through the Heard Island DXpedition, where Jeff was asked to draw cartoon characters, I guess showing many of the different aspects of the DXpedition as they happened. So he did it on the fly, kind of real time. You're not one of these things you think for weeks and you make the drawing. So that shows you what talent he has there. If you follow the Heard Island DXpedition, you've probably seen a lot of his work. And Jeff's also known for his dog-faced ham radio character found in dashtunes.com. So welcome, Jeff, and
thank you.
Glad to have you with us tonight.
Thank you for having me on the program. It's very, very exciting.
And I've got a lot of, you've sent me a number of pictures. I've got, well, I tell you what, I've got, I don't have them in any particular order, but let me throw a couple things up here real quick.
Sure.
There's a QSO card. Now, were you involved in that?
Actually, that's the logo for the Heard Island for the expedition that I designed. But kind of the intro to this is the one that you just showed momentarily, which is the card for that's it. That for Rich Hollick, who I originally he just got in touch with me, wanted a custom card. So I did that for him, and it turned out I didn't know it at the time, but he was involved in the or he's the co-organizer of the expedition, one of them, and he said, "Would you like to do a logo?" And I thought about it, and I gave it some due consideration, about 2 seconds or something like that, and so yeah, boy, this is like the dream of a lifetime for a kid who, I grew up I was a kid ham, but I also loved cartoons, Mad Magazine, and everything. So I thought about being a ham cartoonist at some point when I was planning my career, but it didn't actually happen. But till much later in life. But so Rich asked me to do that, and then it sort of it was more than just the logo, really. It was a sort of the graphic services for the expedition ongoing, which was, of course, involves a lot of fundraising and setting up the site and having banners on the site, and so like that. There's an example. I forget exactly what the train of thought was. Somewhere along the line, I thought about the volcano, the monster volcano, and then Frankenstein came to mind. So jumpstart our monster, So we did that. And a lot of this stuff, Rich and I would knock back and forth a couple of emails, and we'd say, okay, let's do that, and we do it. And that was pretty much the way it ran throughout all the fundraising period, and then finally into the expedition itself. So it was really exciting for me. I mean, it's like somebody tosses you a hot potato, then what can you do with this? So here's another one. I was thinking of the volcano, as the sleeping volcano, and around here where I am, this is Rip Van Winkle country. So I thought of that, and I get the Rip Van Winkle smoking his pipe and his volcano on the cap smoking too. So it's a lot of kind of free association stuff like that. That Rich and I, it was a collaboration from beginning to end, and it's kind of like that's again talking about fundraising and the pile-ups. So it's a combination of there's a lot of competition, but there's cooperation involved too.
Yeah, let me tell you, there were definitely pile-ups on this. I don't know if this picture here was about the actual pile-ups of people trying to work them, but there were some major pile-ups on this the expedition here.
Well, unfortunately I had to experience this vicariously through Rich and other people that I knew who were on the air and trying to get through. My situation right now, I don't have an antenna up. However, I'm gonna be trying out a remote ham radio, and I just got set up on there, and I have to learn a little bit more before I use it. So I will be QRV from Saugerties, New York. That a hot DX entity.
I'll tell you, I bet you Marty could teach you how to work that remote radio.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here in pictures. Now, that's your pile-up picture.
That's the pile-up, yeah. Peace-loving pile-ups. This was, Rich was characterizing, he was talking to me about, he said, well, I like to be, I don't think I really want to go out and hang with the penguins anymore. I'd rather experience it at home, kind of the armchair DXer. So then I thought, I was thinking about that. So then I remember, I think it was on Pee-wee's Playhouse. There was Pee-wee Herman, who had that kid show, had Cherry the Chair was a chair, and I pictured Cherry the Chair with headphones. So that was the genesis of that. And then we'd have, you'd add part of the promotion of the expedition and whatnot. You want to have a holiday theme. So for Thanksgiving, we went with some of the indigenous wildlife around there. With and instead of turkey, we figured krill, because that's the most. Probably what most of the animals and birds would eat. In the aquatic life. And also krill are less controversial, because actually some of those animals on Heard probably eat one another. So, we thought it would be just a little nicer if it was something small like krill. And
yeah, now here's another one. I think this is probably one of my favorites. This is on the website of Heard Island, and I was so honored to get this. I'm going to hold it up here close. I don't know if people are going to actually be able to see this, but you can explain that.
Sure. That was Rich, that was Rich's idea, pretty much completely. And then I just kind of visualized it, but he was thinking of a bunch of penguins lined up with to getting the soup. And kind of funny things that go through your mind when you do stuff like this. I was originally going to have the usual big pot on a boil, on a wood fire, and then it occurred to me there wasn't really there are many trees on Heard, and they probably didn't bring a lot of firewood with them on the Braveheart, so I figured I'd better make it a crock pot and fit it in more with reality there, the usual reality of penguins.
Yeah, I was very honored to be the #1 penguin there. You put the call letters on the hats. They went back. I guess that's people that worked Heard Island, and I saw Katie Island came in #2. I came in #1. So, man, I don't know how I got that honor, but
I don't know either. It's one of these accidental things, which just serendipity.
Yeah, Katie's in the chat room here. She says that's her favorite too. She's got it framed there in her home office, and I just framed this one. It'll be hanging in a shack here, and it was just a great thing that you guys. It was just a great honor.
Well, it pleased Rick and I very much to be able to give those out, and it was a lot of fun to do as well. As the Christmas card with. This is kind of the theme here was the Christmas tree was what I call a flotsam vertical, was a vertical antenna that washed up, kind of along the lines of some people might remember the Gotham vertical. And so I imagine kind of a bent up vertical for the Christmas tree, and then an ill-fitting sweater for the penguin, like a lot of Christmas sweaters can be. So, we were just wishing just a happy cheer for the holiday season from.
Well, I like it. I like the antenna. In fact, it was probably pretty realistic. They put their antennas down in this area that actually flooded, I think, a couple of times, and they've had some. They had some terrible weather there, 70-mile-an-hour winds, and I don't know how they kept those antennas up, but
saltwater ground. Though,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So
Let's see. That's a good, cool looking one there.
Thank you. That was kind of the armchair DXer again, but we're all sort of blasting off. That's when I put that up when they finally they got the Braveheart loaded in Cape Town, and took off like it was really happening, and this is it. We have ignition, that kind of thing. So that was really an exciting moment when this is it. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah. Well, look, boy, our chat room is just really clicking away tonight. We've got, I was penguin #1. We have Katie in there was penguin #2, and we've got Lee, K2HAT. He says he has his. He's still got to get it framed, but he's got it there, and wow, it's just amazing.
Well, it's so neat to to like I say to send these things out and to and it's really a part of ham history, and just to have a piece of that, to participate in that piece is such a cool thing, and I'm very thankful for that opportunity to be involved.
Oh yeah. So who are we looking at here? Is this Dash?
That's Dash, and the thing was Rich and I talked about this, and we decided I suggested, and Rich thought it was an okay idea, that the Dash might be a stowaway, because this is the kind of thing. I mean, I dreamed about these DXpeditions since I was a kid, and not just DXpeditions, but the whole idea of going to the Lost World and all that sort of adventure, Indiana Jones kind of stuff, and so we stole away. We hid Dash on the Braveheart, and then he it didn't work out quite the way he expected, though, because as it turned out, nobody really paid any attention to him. He thought he was going to have to hide, but he didn't have to hide because nobody cared that he was there. In fact, he's kind of like Harvey, and I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember Harvey, but he's that giant rabbit from the movie with Jimmy Stewart, and some people saw him and some people didn't. So he's he's kind of Dash is kind of like my Harvey, and so his appearance is variable.
So, but Dash has been around with you a long time, right?
Yes, he has. Dash came around about 2005. I hadn't done ham radio cartoons before that, but I gave it a shot, and he was my character, and I sent him around. Yeah, there he is. He's finally nobody was paying attention to him on the Braveheart, so he just figured he might as well just sit on deck and read.
Yeah.
A fancy novel, which nobody really cared about anyway. And then there was that we put up. That was because there were some pirates as they came on the air impersonating the expedition, and
right.
We had to quash that rumor, so we put up the pirate flag.
Now here's one too. This is I really like this one. This is one of the earlier ones, I guess, for Heard Island.
Yeah, Tom, that's kind of you're not. It's not really a doppelganger because it doesn't really look like you, but it's your avatar on Heard Island, which is a rockhopper penguin.
Well,
interviewing Dr. Bob, who is the leader of the expedition.
Let me tell you, I can recognize Dr. Bob here, but I cannot recognize him either. I'm glad you put the hat on.
Well, I don't know, Tom. It has a certain presence, and he's a colorful guy. And
I guess I represent that.
I don't know if your feet are sort of purple like that, but I hope not. But you know, I thought I thought he cut a pretty good figure though as a representative of W5KUB.com.
Yeah. Now it looks like here's Dash there, and I'm reading the CW there, and it looks like he's trying to market some Ovaltine.
This didn't work. This was, Dash has a lot of schemes, and this was one of his schemes. He thought that if he went to Heard Island and issued a secret message in Morse code to drink your Ovaltine, like Captain Midnight in the old days and stuff, he might be able to get a contract with Ovaltine, but we haven't heard from Nestle's yet, and so and it's getting a little late, so that may not have worked.
And there's the original,
the Chow line.
And let's see. Wow.
And this is this. A little explanation's involved here. One of the creatures that they were originally thinking of studying, some of the biologists on the expedition, were this creature called a tardigrade, which it's really like a dust mite. It's very, very small, but because it's Heard Island, mysterious island, King Kong, the whole deal. Everything is giant on these mysterious islands. So naturally, this little tardigrade thing, they're as big as Shetland ponies. And Dash is going to. He rode one. He almost got left on the island. That's why he's saying, "Wait for me," because people just sort of forgot about him. So he got on one of these things and rode out to sea after the Braveheart, and he made his way there. So everything turned out all right.
All right, let's see. I'm going to pull a different set of pictures up here.
Sure.
If I can figure out how to open them here. All right, so let's talk about you, man. That person there kind of resembles you with Dash ears on.
Well, as I said, the difference between me and Dash is remarkably slim. It kind of fades in and out. So this is when this is my first radio, or my first fake radio, I should say. This is a Remco toy, which at one time every boy wanted, and I just took to that thing like nothing else. I
think I had one of those Remco toy kits. You get it at Christmas, and it's got 6 or 8 parts in it, and you stick them all on the board, and you actually make a radio that works. Is that kind of what that was?
Well, it was towards that, but this thing it had a couple of flashlight batteries, and a buzzer, so it had a key, you could send code, but it also had something a lot of stations don't have, and that's like a searchlight that you could key as well. So, and it kind of, there was some, it buzzed and different things, but it did not actually broadcast. But see, back then we used our imaginations, and so I used mine, and it was like you'd call in, you'd call all the cars, and you'd call Mars and ask the aliens to come and bomb your new little brother. Something
that was some high-tech stuff back in the 60s. I mean,
D-cells, yeah.
Yeah, the only other gifts you'd get back then was be a football or something, to take outside.
The other thing was I loved guns, I got a lot of, I was big on 6 guns and stuff like cap guns. So it was kind of a toss-up between radios and guns. So my parents went with the radio.
Yeah.
This is kind of like the first experiment, my first construction or destruction project.
Destruction. I tell you that to me, I don't know if you knew what tube that was, but to me that looks like a 5U4.
Well, it's one of those old dead TV tubes that some people may remember. TV repairmen, they'd come and they'd take they'd replace the tubes, and then if you're the kid hanging around, they might give you one, which they did. I collected them, and I'd take them, and you get something like that as a kid, the first thing you want to do is smash it with a hammer, and then see what's inside. So I did, and
Well, I really do think it's a 5U4. That's a rectifier tube out of a TV. Let's see.
Yeah.
I love this picture here.
That's represent. There's a more story with that than you ever have time for. But let me tell you about the one thing. That's my first SWL shack when I was licensed. I'm not licensed. I was registered as a shortwave monitor with Popular Electronics, and I think the Tom Nattell was the SWL editor at the time, so he signed it, and I think the Easter Bunny signed it too. But it was like a pretend call sign. But if you could go back to that for just a second, what I want to point out is one of the things that I wanted to have when I was in SWL, I wanted to be a ham. But so I kind of jumped the gun, and in shop class, I made an on-air sign, even though I couldn't go on the air. I had nothing to go on the air with, but I had the sign. So I made it was supposed to be like a house number sign, and with a red light on it and a switch. And so I made this thing, and I spent weeks on it, and I brought it home, and it was idiotic is what it was.
Well, that's your first only air sign.
I know, but I couldn't be on the air. But,
yeah.
But it's sometimes you don't. I was not Marty. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I was the anti-Marty.
The anti-Marty, huh? Now this looks like Dash has got some fine Collins gear here.
Yeah, well, that's his That was after he got his novice ticket. He fantasized about being a ham, and this is kind of his Hefnerian penthouse with his column and his kidney-shaped operating desk and the lights and the whole bit. And in his own mind, that's how he pictured himself as a ham. His reality, however, was a little different. And I think the next picture might show that. That was that's in the cellar in the house. I'd have my DX20 at a card table in the cellar over a bare light bulb. And the bang bang is my dad banging on the floor with his foot because I'm wrecking the TV. So it wasn't so Hefnerian. It was kind of more like...
back then it was easy to wreck the TV. Nowadays, with everybody has cable and everything's digital, you don't have interference anymore. Wouldn't it have been nice when we were young hams?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's when you're a kid, there's some, you want to kind of, make waves and shake up everybody, and it's kind of I don't know, is it passive aggressive? I don't know the term, but but what I would do with my father was he would bang on the floor with his foot, and then I would slap the key in time with him banging the foot. So we got into this kind of a QSO of sorts, and that was what communication was like then with parents.
Now was this your novice call, or was this Dash's?
That was our, yes. I have it as Dashiell's call there, but that's a combination. That was my call. And that was an approximation of my first QSL card, which was one of the bargain ones. This was Radio Club. My first introduction to Radio Club, but I was in junior high school at the time. I was about Marty's age, and at that time, Radio Club was like you had these super nerds, the guys with the slide rules, and then you'd have these sort of CBer guys who had visions of grandeur, So they'd come with the little walkie-talkies. So I was kind of like in between this group, and it was I already had my ticket at that point, so it was a little strange.
So Marty, what did you call these guys?
Well, what is that?
What do you call these guys?
You're asking me.
Nerdy, huh?
I can multiply on that.
Yeah.
And that's it. I can't do anything else. But C and D scale, that's me.
All right, let's see. And now the Martian-looking people there. Now, what are they? I mean, from Lafayette Radio. Back then, I guess we had Lafayette Radio, we had Allied Radio, Night.
Well, yes, this was kind of paradoxical. Lafayette Radio sold quite a range of stuff, and on one hand, where I lived, there was a Lafayette Radio store, branch store, and it was a lot of CB stuff. But then Lafayette also sold sort of scientific stuff. They had a line of slide rules, and it just struck me with the walkie-talkie with the antenna kind of reminded me of the slide rule, and they're kind of like the opposite sides of the same deal.
All right, let me see. I'm going to. I think I've got a couple more pictures here. Let me see if I can bring those up real quick. All right, I think this gets into some of the special QSL card design, maybe. Some of the artwork that you might do.
Yeah, as I got into the, I don't know when, maybe 2011 or so, I decided I'd give it a shot. I'd start doing custom QSL cards for people. So this was not one of my first. This was a little later along the line, but Shane was interested in something spacey, kind of 1950, cartoony and whatnot. So this is what I came up with, and it's kind of an homage to one of my favorite. He was a mad cartoonist, but he also did a lot of wonderful sort of comic science fiction stuff. Wally Wood. This was a card I did for
looks like
D02
FM.
That's correct. Yep. And she wanted something very, unconventional. This is something different. So, and she was just getting into Morse code. And Frauke is also a very active ham. She's does windsurfing and a lot of stuff. Very, very outdoors, skier and whatnot. So she wanted something that would express that about herself, and so we'd use the theme of the ship and the code and and the wave and kind of combined it all. I just get some of the most interesting clients. This is Kelly Van Johns, who was a who worked for NASA for a period of time. She was really like a three-generation Huntsville, the Marshall Spacecraft Center. Three generations. Her father was an EE for them during the Apollo program. Kelly worked on the microgravity lab for the shuttle, and then her grandfather was a co-worker of Werner von Braun, and was one of the principal people who came over with Operation Paperclip. So you can't get much more space town than that.
Oh yeah.
Steve, this is Steve from. He's one of the G4GXL is he was one of the principal people of QRP ARC. I guess it's pronounced ARCI, ARCI, and he's into building little QRP radios inside tins. So that's a Russian cigarette tin that he was given, and he's also into dragonflies. So you say, how do we put together dragonflies, Russian cigarette tins? So I built the radio, and and I kind of worked his QTH into a two-way return day tripper kind of British Railway, which kind of gives QTH on there too. This was a really fun thing too. This was for Central New York contesters, and I was thinking, the name made me think of the railroad, the New York Central Railroad, and then they had I guess it was a very famous group of locomotives in the 30s and 40s, and they had a lot of posters for that. And the Deco locomotive reminded me of an 813 tube, so I just combined the two and put them together, and I'm very, very happy with that. Here's another English ham who happens to live in Greenwich, so that's the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, and we put the prime meridian in there, and kind of trying to worked it all together for Robin.
I like this one.
Yeah. This is one of my a brutal pun, and I won't belabor it here. I'll just say what that is this fellow was a fancier of pugs. So I built him a little radio here with a pug in coil.
A pug in coil. That's cool.
Coil, yes.
That's cool. I like this one, and I like that. You know what? This reminds me back in the beginning days of my electronics, where this board that these components are on, they got these little clip leads. These little clips.
Spanish stock clips.
Yeah, you press them down, put the wire under them. That just brings back old memories.
That's the stuff. I mean, that intrigued me as a kid too. I loved all the old breadboard construction stuff, and I did a little bit of it myself. This has a lot of meaning. It has really a sweet story, and I'll just say that this gentleman, Sebastian, he was mentored as a kid by his father, who was a radio. I'm not sure if he was a ham or not, but he was a radio enthusiast, and but he was also a teenager during the Nazi occupation, and I don't know if you could see on the batteries. There's those three birds on the battery logo. It's just as if it's a brand for a logo or something like for a battery company. And what his father did was, when he was a kid, as a sign of defiance during his village was occupied, he and some of his friends, they drew these bird signs on the bottoms of their feet as they were like V for victory, just the simple bird, the wings going out like a V. And so it was kind of an act of defiance during the war. And so he wanted to have some sort of a tribute as a memory to his father and for all that he taught him. And the fox is, of course, like Renard the Fox, who is a folk figure in France.
This is a nice one.
And this is wild. This is something I did for a fellow who's a relatively new friend. I got to know him on Facebook, and John is a private person, but so I won't go into any story. But I will just say that John is a very active ham in the world, and he gets out. He goes to South America and various places. He does a lot of good works for people, and I just admire this guy so much, and I wanted to really do something exceptional for him. So I did that. John's an old, among other things, a wonderful guy, an old hippie, and he's into music. So we had some fun doing kind of like a old psychedelic poster.
Yeah. Now,
that's just my sort of billboard there.
Yeah, if there are hams out there that want you to do some type custom cartoon design for them, they can contact you.
Absolutely.
At your call at -tunes.com.
That would be the email, and they can just go to -tunes.com for everything. And I got all the links are there. So that's a simple, universal URL.
All right. Now, so there's another group or something you started up about neckties. Tell me about this necktie thing.
I'm very subtle, aren't I?
Oh, yeah, I see you got your necktie on there. I see that.
I do, and a group of us were sort of laughing once. A group of Facebook friends and whatnot. We were laughing about old pictures of hams from the 20s and the 30s, and they all wore ties. They all wore neckties, and it's like, you're on the radio. Why do you need a necktie? What does that mean? But at the time, everybody, if you were doing something remotely important or just adult, very good, that you wore a necktie. So we thought, well, let's bring neckties back, and so see if we can promote them at any rate. So we did. We founded the World Necktie QSO Party Facebook group, and everybody is welcome to join. It's free. It's absolutely free, and all you got to do is just join the group. And if it would be nice if you sent in a picture of yourself. A selfie, wearing a tie, just as that good-looking cravat that Tom is wearing there.
So can I be in the worldwide?
Make you a member and.
Yeah, can I be in the worldwide?
Yes, you can.
What is it? Necktie QSO
we'll
party.
grandfather you in right away, and you'll be a member in full standing, and there may even be a certificate in it.
Ooh, I wouldn't count on that.
So also we do. If you want to really get in, this is completely optional now, but I do sell a button, which will be as a Dayton souvenir button. So, which also there's a link to, and I make the minimum that you can make on Cafe. It's a quarter. So if you want to contribute a quarter to me, I forget if it's like $2 or $3 or something like that for the button, and you can wear that. I'm guessing, we haven't discussed it formally, but I'm sure we'll be having some kind of a meetup at Dayton, maybe out on the loading dock or someplace very elegant that would befit our ties, and we'll all stand around and look foolish. But what's ham radio for except to stand around?
Well, I've looked at your site, and again, what's the exact name of this? Necktie QSO?
It's It's ridiculous. It's World Necktie QSO Party.
Okay,
it's
World
not
Necktie
an on-air
QSO
event.
Party. Okay,
I don't know.
you know, when you look
yes.
back on the site there and you start looking at these, and it reminded me, you know, the old days. You see all these advertisements of people in broadcasting or talking in a mic or a ham radio operator or even selling or operating a CB radio. They always had neckties on back then.
Yes, it defied logic, but I guess it was just a holdover from the days when everybody wore. I mean, the Three Stooges wore neckties. You know, you just did. You know, so it was, and I think it just stands for something. And even though you can't see somebody wearing a necktie on the radio, I think just knowing it's there. Well, I have one of our slogans is 14-3-13. You know, the bad frequency on 20 meters. They hate it when you wear a tie. It's just like it strikes a blow. They can't take it. It's so, you know, the more we do that, we think we can bring some civility back to ham radio. Yeah.
Well, I bet you in Dayton this year there will be a few people that have neckties on.
Well, you know, it like I say, our requirements for membership are very loose. I mean, anybody goes. It's not. I want to emphasize too. This is really important that it's not just for. It's not. OMs and neckties. This is a big tent organization, and we take in people with we take YLs, of course, young people. Marty wants to come in and wear a tie. We of course we want Marty to join too, and it doesn't have to be a tie. It can be a bolo tie. It can be a bow tie. YLs can have a scarf. The hotsy totsis, they can wear an ascot if they like. It's not style is not the thing. It's the symbol of. We
just got to bump it up a little notch here.
Bump it up.
Yeah,
exactly.
Bump it up a little bit. Well, I tell you what, looking forward to seeing you in Dayton in we got 24 more days, I think. So that's 3 to 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks, something like that. So be sure and come by and see us. Get on our webcast, talk to us. And we'll really be looking forward to seeing you and Marty and all the other people there. So Jeff, man, it's been great talking to you tonight about all this stuff. It's looks like you got a very interesting. I don't know if it's kind of a combined hobby career with you. You know.
Yeah, I don't know if there is exactly a word for it yet, but we'll work on it tonight, and if we come up with that word, it'll be posted tomorrow morning.
All right.
Just what that is.
Well, look, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and end this segment. We really enjoyed talking to you tonight, Jeff, and the show's not over yet. I mean, the formal part of the show is basically over, and we go to what we call Hangout. I mean, if you want to stick around and watch the rest of the show, you can. Sometimes it gets very exciting. We talk about everything. It's not always ham radio related.
Is there like a lot of yelling and stuff too?
Well, not a lot of yelling. We do have Doc, and Doc's probably on here. Us old guys, we always get with Doc after the show to see what he can do for our ailments and things like that. You know,
finger wagging.
But anyway, what we do is. We can bring up to 10 people in the show on video. So people will actually join us on the show here in video. It's like sitting around a coffee table. And we also have telephone lines that we open up for people to call in that don't want to come in with a camera. So that's going to be the next part of the show. We usually have some regulars in there, and we're going to go ahead and open up the show, the Hangout part of the show. Kathy, have you we just sent the link out in the Jerry's mentioned colonoscopies there. Yeah, we do talk about that. Oh, was that Jill?
Yeah.
Well, I saw Jerry there. But anyway, we'll talk about everything and anything.
Sounds
so
like
it'll probably go. The show will probably go on another 45 minutes.
Okay.
For people that want to watch, and if you don't come in, we'll hang out. You can still be in the chat room. You can still watch the show, and you can see what we're talking about. So. Jeff Murray, K1NSS, ham radio cartoonist. We really enjoyed having you on here with us tonight, and we'll see you in Dayton.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much for it. It's just been a ball being here, and thanks very much for the opportunity to
All right, 73.
be on TV.
Yeah, hey, and I love the. Let me put it on here. I love the drawing you did for. I put this on our Facebook group. It looks just like you on TV right there. Oh, just real quick, tell them who the penguin is right there.
Oh, that's well. I'm not sure. That is one of the penguins in line. If you can go, I do have your. Here's your.
Yeah.
This is you as a rock hopper there.
Yeah. As a rock hopper.
Yeah, that's okay.
one
of the they have.
Oh yeah. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Shut up, Jeff.
All right. Well, look, and here's another picture there with you at Dash. I was going to show these tonight, and I didn't do it, but it looks like both of you guys have got some shaky-looking eyes there.
Oh yeah, that's it.
But I really enjoyed this. We put it on our announcement for the show and put it in our newsletter, so everybody got to see it. And
okay, thank you.
Thanks very much for doing that. 73, and we'll see you soon.
73, Tom. Take
All right,
care.
bye-bye. All right, so let's go to Hangout and see who we got in here tonight. If I can figure out again how to get there. Just take me a second to get there. You guys may have noticed we're coming to you from Studio 1 tonight. Let's see who can name the city. Oh man, I don't see anybody to hang out tonight. Yep, Russ came in. There's Russ. Hey Russ, how you doing, man?
Hey Tom, you like my little halo? Isn't that great?
I love that. Hang on, so let me get you on the broadcast here. All I gotta do is figure out how to do it. There we go. Got you. I love that halo, man.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it is. All right, so since I'm not in the worldwide necktie QSO party, I'm gonna take my tie off. Get back to just being casual here tonight with everybody. Well, welcome. I saw you in the show and in the chat room here. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, you had a great show, and I'm definitely going to be talking to Jeff because we need something from him. So that'll be good.
Oh, do you? Okay, great. And look, there's Doc in here tonight, man. That's everybody. And hey, there's Jeff made it in there. Now, Doc,
I heard you talking about me, so I had to come on here and defend myself.
Let me tell you, Doc. This 2.5 week cold is getting better.
Ooh.
It's getting better.
You sound
but
more like yourself.
I still got a little bit. I need to knock it out in the next 2 days. My friend astronaut Doug Wheelock is coming in Thursday. I'm picking him up at the airport. He's actually going to spend the night with us. And then I'm going with him to St. Jude on Friday morning. And I don't want to be, coughing and clearing my throat in St. Jude. It'd probably run me out of there. So I really got it.
That's a really great place over there. Our son was treated over there in 1986 and lived for another 29 years.
Wow. My son was also treated there. We thought that we were going to lose him. He was about 16. This was 92. And everything came out perfect. He's completely okay. He's cancer-free. He's 41 years old now. Doing great. I tell you, that hospital, I've got it's deep in my heart, the hospital and the things they do, And we had a granddaughter that in 2004 that went in, and she's doing fine. She's in college now, loving life and loving the college life. And man, we were so blessed to have something like St. Jude around.
Yes, indeed.
They do lots of good work.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, when my son died in January, we asked that memorials be made to St. Jude's.
Was that this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
January the 30th.
So sorry to hear that. You know, I mentioned to you I lost a daughter at 29.
Yep.
She came over with colon cancer. You don't
Yeah,
even
he was
screen.
33.
You don't even screen a female at that age, really. But wow, sorry to hear that, Doc. But you know, St. Jude really does a lot of good things, and a lot of good stories come out of there for sure. Let's see who we get. We got somebody new. I see we got.
He got 29 years more than he would have had.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got Eric in here. Eric, are you new into the Hangout with us? Oh, I'm not hearing you, Eric. No audio, Eric.
Here's some JT65.
I'm gonna mute. I muted Eric. Now, Eric, we were not hearing your audio, Eric. We're not hearing your audio, but I am hearing some kind of Star Trek in the background. Not sure what that is. So I don't think your mic's on. Eric, if you want to talk, you're gonna have to unmute your mic now.
I couldn't make it go any faster, Captain.
No, man, it sounds like you're on the Enterprise. I didn't make anything out. No audio. I don't think you got the right mic selected. Possibly, maybe you need to look at settings under Hangout settings and see if you have the right mic selected.
That should be so much better.
Oh yeah, I hear you now. You sounding good.
Yeah, I usually use this for the Ustream. I haven't used it for anything else, so that's why. Good evening, Eric N2KOJ. The camera's over here now. I moved it. Eric N2KOJ. It's really cool seeing Marty tonight. I got licensed at age 12 also. Back in 1989, when 10 meters was like 20 watts, and you worked literally the world.
All right. I just threw the phone number up there, too. If anybody wants to call in on the telephone line, you can get us at 901-286-1116. And yes, that is into KOJ, into WKS is inquiring. So, Eric, I guess you know into WKS?
Yeah, we know each other. Let's see. There's... Can you see my QSL card? It's here somewhere. All right, I'm looking at the wrong camera.
Oh, yeah.
One of those nights.
Joycey.
Yeah, the king of Joycey.
All right. Oh. So, are you new to our show, Eric? Or I haven't seen you on Hangout here for sure.
I haven't been on the Hangout. I popped in on the show every once in a while. Tuesday nights used to be a pretty crazy night in the house here. I run a 40-meter net on 7185 on Monday nights for the Ole Miss. Used to be Friday nights, but I moved to Mondays. And on Wednesday nights, I do 40 meters for Ham Nation. So Tuesday nights were kind of the nights that the boss said, you're not doing anything on the radio.
Yeah,
and then... I saw Marty was going to come on tonight, and I said, I definitely got to get on and say hello to my buddy Marty.
Yeah, well,
he did so good.
We're glad to have you, and I tell you, I'm gonna have to sign Marty up. Maybe just turn this whole thing over to him.
Yeah,
very impressive young man.
If I can get Marty on here, and if we can get Jeff just to draw a cartoon every week, I think we'll have a hit show.
Yeah. I could do Fred Flintstone.
Yeah, I enjoy
Fred Flintstone. Yeah.
I enjoyed your segment too, Jeff.
Thank you. That's a tough act to follow, man. That kid is sure. Out of sight. It really is.
For sure. Yep. Yeah, he's way ahead of his time.
Yeah, he is. 901-286-1116. Somebody's audio is...
Hold on, let me mute. Sorry.
That's all right. Kind of did something. I don't know. Oh,
are we still over 5130, or does that terminate when the show ends?
It should be off now. We're on about an hour and a half from 8 to 9:30 Central. So I would imagine Robert has turned it off. If not, I'm going to go ahead and turn the audio off to the radio station. So the audio is now off to the radio station. you know, people listening out there on shortwave might not be too interested in some of the stuff we talk about here, you know, in our round table at night, you know.
It was 20 over on my my old what is this, trusty TS 440 on the vertical that I very rarely use. In the beginning of the show, it was barely there, and then like 10 minutes into it, K2AHT, is that Lee? He was like, "I'm hearing it," and I turned. I realized that I was in the wrong mode, and it was just booming, and I was like, "That's pretty cool." So I wrote that one down, and gonna use that. Gonna listen to that a little bit too. That was really nice.
Yeah, you know, I've been in radio for 50 years, but you know, I started off as a shortwave listener, but I really didn't realize what they've been doing the last 10, 15 years. Hadn't listened that much, but you know, the mode that we're on 5130 is not truly AM. It's called C USB. It's compatible USB is what it is. I mean, not USB. Yeah, upper sideband. It's compatible upper sideband is what it is. It's got a little bit of it's got 25% carrier in there. That way you can listen to it on a sideband rig or an AM rig, you know.
Yeah, that's what I did. I stuck it in upper sideband, and it came in a lot better. AM, something's interfering. I have some noise in the shack for some of the bands, but not all the bands, thankfully. And where Jeff is that, you know, when I saw that penguin when he put the Heard Island cartoon up, I had just barely worked them, and when I tell you I barely worked them, I was sitting in the shack. I had my cans on because my wife said, "Turn the darn thing down," and and I'm sitting there.
Well, that's the nice version.
Yeah, well, yeah, she was afraid that I may have been transmitting, or you know, maybe had my stream on, so she figured she would use the PG version. So I just happened to have the cans on, and I heard Echo Kilo QRZ. And I just keyed up, and yep, I'm running 800 watts here, the wire, and I threw out my call sign twice, and all as I heard was Kilowatt Oscar Juliet, and my heart stopped.
Well,
I gave my signal report twice, and as I'm sitting there staring at the screen, bam, it popped up because they had that really cool logging program, and I was dancing for about 15 minutes.
Yeah, you know, I listened for them for 2 weeks, never heard them. I always heard people call them, but I never heard them. So I thought I'll try some new strategy here. When people call them, you know, down 2 or down 2.5 or whatever. When people call them, I'll call them. Now I wouldn't hear them, but I called them. And then everybody stopped and you get a little quiet, and people start calling again. This is on CW, so I called them again, and guess what? It got quiet. And then they came back to me with my call and theirs. We exchanged signal reports, and next thing I know, on the little pop-out box on their website, it says, "You've just worked VK0EK." So I really lucked out.
That was too cool, wasn't it?
That was one of the neatest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What I was wondering if now I'm not I'm a casual DXer, but you know, no way was I in a position to work Heard. But the thing that interests me and I wondered about was, especially considering that there was a lot of people had a tough time working them, was it more annoying that there was like this, you know, pretty good online presence and the idea of seeing the instant contacts being made? Was that maddening because like you couldn't get them and there's all this hoopla and happy talk and then you couldn't get through? Was that annoying or not?
Here's what I found. I was following them on their site, and it's a neat site, the DXA. And you could see it would draw a line from Heard Island up to what country they're talking to.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it appeared it was Europe or Asia or in there. I mean, we had very short windows, it seems, over here, and particularly it was during the gray line when it was dark here and dark there. Basically. And I would watch it. And I'd see the little line come over to the U.S. and I'd see some, K9s and some K5s, and I'd look up the 5 and see where he was. I figured he must be pretty close to me, and he's working Heard Island, but I don't hear him. And next thing you know, it'd move on out to California, and it'd be gone. And then, you wouldn't hear it again until the next night, or I wouldn't really see it. So,
Yeah, they never did really come in boiling in here in Tennessee either. At least not on my antennas, but I managed to work them twice on 30 meters, once on CW and once on RTTY.
Yeah.
I picked them up a couple of times on 40, but I could never get in. Their pileup was always huge, and I'm only running 100 watts in a wire, like some people do and some people don't. But it wasn't working for me.
Well, that's what I ran. I ran the 100 watts, and in fact, I worked them on 30, and that's the first. I've been a ham 53 years. I never made a contact on 30 meters, so.
I've made lots of contacts on 30 meters on WSPR.
I felt like that was probably my best shot right there. So I went outside real quick. We had a storm coming. It was going to be raining the next 3 days, and I cut me a 107-foot piece of wire and made me a triangle or a delta loop, and I pulled it up in a tree about 65 feet over a limb out there, turned it where it was oriented toward Heard Island, and that's what I used to work them.
Hey Doc, your band looks a lot like my band. What do you got there?
This is a Macanudo.
I got a Namati, so.
I'm ready to re-enlist into the Navy, so when I go back overseas, I can start smoking Cubans again.
You don't have to do that anymore. We can get Cubans all the time now.
Well,
I'm hopeful.
That's the only thing I really support about it. When we were on our 6-month cruise, the first port we hit was Rota, Spain, and our captain was a huge cigar smoker, and I spent $200 on cigars, and I had them all the whole deployment, and he called us onto the flight deck when we were 50 nautical miles from U.S. territory, and if you didn't smoke it, he had to watch you throw it overboard. He couldn't mail it, nothing. So heartbreaking.
Well, in my work, I used to get in Miami a lot. I had people in Miami, and they were always claiming you could buy the Cuban cigars there in Miami. I don't know if it was true or not. You don't know. I mean, you can watch them roll and make them right there on the streets. You don't know if you're getting a real.
A lot of counterfeit ones.
You don't know if you're getting a real Cuban cigar or not.
I bought some counterfeit ones in Mexico. I'm sure they were counterfeit, but they had Cohiba brand wrappers, and they were pretty good fakes, but they didn't taste like Cuban. So I'm sure I got taken.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to try a Cuban until I actually go to Cuba.
So the phone number 901-286-1116. If anybody wants to join by phone, you can dial in. I don't know where the other Russ is. He usually calls in every night. So Russ, I think you're out in. Anybody remember where Russ is? He's out west somewhere.
Has the Cuban detente lifted the ban on cigars, or is that still? It's still in.
It has lifted it to a certain extent. There's still a restriction, but you can now get them within a certain amount.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think that's right.
It's killing me. I'm sorry. You guys are just killing me because I smoked. I mean, I wasn't an aficionado or anything like that, but I liked a good cigar. And when I go to, I visit friends in Bermuda a lot, and I get cigars there and stuff, and then I got in the habit of smoking them around here, not Cuban cigars, but just okay cigars, and it's like I had quit smoking for a long time, and then I started doing this again, and I had to stop again. Just I like it so much. It's very difficult. I envy all of you. You're having fun, and I
watched a video just today about some of the really poor Cuban fakes that you can buy in Bermuda. So I'd be
probably what I got. Yeah. Is Bermuda known for Cuban fakes?
I don't know if it's known for Cuban fakes, but apparently you can buy them there if you want.
I just went, I just went into a regular smoke shop there, and I don't know what I'm buying. It's just
If you stay away from,
Anybody's
think of it as Cuban cigars aren't what they used to be. I mean, everyone's still so like, because they've been so taboo for so long, everyone's like, you got to go have Cuban cigars. But Nicaraguan cigars and Dominican cigars and everything else, they're all so great now. I mean, they all make wonderful cigars. You don't have to have a Cuban anymore. It's just not a thing.
I did pick tobacco for a while. I picked with a buddy in Connecticut when I was a kid. We picked wrapper tobacco in near Rockville, and that was a trip, boy. That was my first real job, and it was a corker. Interesting.
Used to be a big cash crop here in Tennessee. Less so now.
Was it wrapper or was it for the regular part?
I think it was the regular stuff. You know, a lot of burley.
Mm-hmm.
Probably shouldn't dominate the Amateur Radio Roundtable chat with cigars, but hey, anyway.
We usually, we usually have the cigar smoking roundtable every night here. In fact, Kurt's on here, WA2JSG. He's not in the Hangout, but he's in the chat room, and he always lights one up with you guys.
Well, I know Bill, NE4RD, wanted to be in here, but apparently he's on his way to the airport to pick up his in-laws. So.
Yeah, I saw that.
My condolences.
Yeah, he's usually in here, and he usually lights one up.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be in here right now if he could.
Oh, yeah.
And but Tom, you had mentioned maps earlier. Not an advertisement. I just picked up. I just realized that I got my CQ maps delivered yesterday. It's really cool. It's we found it up on 100 watts in the wire, and he put my call sign, my name, my nickname. It's got my coordinates, my Maidenhead locator. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's a nice little. You guys can see it.
Oh yeah.
Nice little map, laminated. Was $20.
Well, I have to say, Tom,
How did you get that?
Your interview tonight with Jeff was particularly relevant to me because I have two projects coming up. One is I need to get new QSL cards because I've moved locations and all of my old QSL cards have my old QTH on them, so I've got to get new ones.
Great.
And I'm looking for new logo stuff to put on merchandise to sell for the podcast. So I've got to get stuff to do. So, Jeff, I'm going to be in touch.
Absolutely. Please.
After seeing Jeff's cards, I guess I'm going to throw away the 500 cards that I just bought about 6 months ago. So.
Well, we aim to please, and the way I work is it's like it's not like, okay, what do you want? Okay, here it is. Now pay me. No, it's all back and forth, and and you don't have to know just what you want or something like that. We kind of discuss it, and I do a couple of designs, and you look at it, say I like this one, but the dachshund on the tugboat should have a different hat or something like this. And it's cool.
So Doc,
and I'm
you can
used to that. That's I'm cool with that. That's fine, and we do that.
Doc, Jeff will be up at Dayton this year, so you'll get a chance to see him there. Nova Scotia.
I'll have to.
Nova Scotia says hello. Nova Scotia's in the chat room.
What I want, but I've got some ideas. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Before the show tonight, Tom, I paid for my booth rent up there, so we'll be in EH625. So
East Hall.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll see you.
We'll try to get by there. Don't know if we. Let's see. That's the East Hall. We can cover about 80% of those 4 buildings with our cart, our video cart.
Well, we're just inside the door there, right across from the Scoot-Around booth. I'm sure you know where that's at.
Where what is?
Where Scoot-Around?
Oh yeah. I know where the scooters are. In fact, I tell you, I had an idea last year and I just hadn't followed through. I want to rent a scooter and connect it to our video cart behind, where we can drive around, and broadcast.
I'm bringing my GoPro, and I've already hooked up with George Zafiropoulos from Western Digital and from Kale, K4CDN. We're going to be podcasting and stuff, so we got all kinds of stuff going on.
All right.
Glad
So,
to be there.
have you got an internet connection in there?
I don't. I think we're just going to use theirs because I can't afford that kind of money.
Yeah. Well, you saw our internet connection is $700 for 3 days.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah. But that's because of our video and everything. You can get it much
I'll sell
cheaper.
you some bandwidth.
I bet he will.
He's going to be so far away from us, so that's what I was wondering. We might. I don't know if we can get back to where the scooters are or not. So what are they going to use? Do you know?
I don't know what they're going to use, but whatever it is, it's going to be better than what I've got because if I'm doing anything on the internet, it's going to be through my cell phone. I'm going to be setting up a hotspot. So.
Well, let me tell you. I mean, you've been here before, right?
I've been to Dayton for 5 years. The last time I didn't go was last year, but we're going to be back this year.
Well, typically your cell phone and your 3G and 4G are useless on Friday and Saturday. And then they start working a little bit Sunday, about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, I know. But we can't afford the drayage cost from Hera. I mean, it's way too much.
That reminds me, I got to send him some money tomorrow. I should have called him tonight.
Hey, Russ?
Yes, sir.
You said you had a podcast. I saw it in the chat room. I missed it. I forgot to ask you about it, if it's okay.
Oh, no, you can ask me all about it you want. It's called Linux in the Ham Shack.
Ooh.
That's what I want.
The Penguins, there you go.
Penguins, yeah, you beat me to it.
My brother's a big into computers, and he loves Linux, and he's going to get his ticket. He promised my dad when my dad was a couple months prior to him becoming a silent key. I'm a beta tester for the NetLogger program for a lot of the HF nets, and it's available on Linux now, which is really nice. I'll have to definitely check that out. And I'm going to be streaming W5KUB a lot. I'm going to be using your bandwidth from home here because I'm going to be missing out on a lot of it. Another year of none for me, no Dayton for me.
Wow.
Oh, that's too bad. We'll miss you, man.
Well,
you know what? Maybe next year you just got to start saving up for it, and then finish my 17 pages of honey-do list.
Okay, we got somebody who hadn't been talking here. Bill from the IOOK. How you doing, Bill?
Hi there. How you doing?
Doing good. Now, Bill, what's the call, Bill? I'm barely seeing you. What's your call?
WZ1L.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, Bill.
Lehman.
I know who you are now. Yeah. Great to have you in here, man.
Yeah.
Is that a true one call? Because I was a one call once upon a time. Is that like a real one call, or is that a...
I'll tell you what, sir. 20 words a minute. Thank you.
It's a real call.
It was hell in 1995. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, I was just curious. You plan on being there about 5 or 6 o'clock at night?
Well,
I know it's a 500-mile drive.
5 or 6. You mean the first night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, your drive.
Oh, our drive. Okay. It's 10 hours. I mean, and there's an hour time difference too. So we will try.
I mean, you stop for lunch and everything else.
We will try.
Okay,
we'll try to get out of here about 8 o'clock Wednesday morning before the show.
Uh-huh.
And then it'll take us about, I don't know, more likely we get in about 7 o'clock at night is when we get there.
Uh-huh.
So that's
when
when
we get there, but we don't get
I'm
there.
just curious. How's the K1MAX going to be driving or flying this year? Do you know?
You talking about Max?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes Max last year I think he flew. Normally he drives and follows us. But I think he flew last year, so
he still hadn't decided if he was going to drive or if he was going to fly. But I told him where I was staying. I'm just down the road from y'all.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. We got James in here. Hey, James, how you doing? Your mic's off. Your mic's muted.
You got some nice elevator music in here too. That's good.
Yeah.
Mike's trying to get framed there. So.
Yeah, I'm here.
We're getting so many people in here now. I don't know who's on. Let's see. There's Mike. Hey, Mike.
I'm able to use my work laptop tonight, so I actually have a high definition front-facing camera instead of that stupid thing I had the last month.
It's looking good. Looks good. So, Mike, when did you slip in here? Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you just come in? Yeah, Mike must not be listening.
Mike's off?
I'll let me. Mike probably can't hear me. Let me.
So Jeff, you did the logo for the 3905 CCN logger, right? For N7XG.
N7XG? No, I didn't.
What's the thing with the cap with the thing next to the stack of stuff? I saw it on your website. Was that not for N7XG?
I'm not sure what you mean, but I mean I've done a mess of stuff, so it's sometimes it can, you know.
I saw that before. Let me look it up again because I don't remember.
All right. I'm surprised no one has tried.
Well, I don't have a good connection here tonight.
I heard you that time. Okay, 901-286-1116. This is the first night nobody's called in on the phone line. I need to test the phone line. How about the guy from Nova Scotia? He can call us. 901-286-1116.
So Jeff, the logo that I'm talking about shows a cat with cans on, with hand trucks that says on there.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, okay, yes. Now I know. That's.
Well, I'm not having a good connection here tonight. I'm in a hotel room in the.
Yeah, Mike's got bad internet in the hotel.
Yeah, Tom, that's you know.
I'm pretty sure that that N7XG took that.
Yeah, you heard me.
The 3905 Century Club logger.
That's okay. That's I have a bunch of clip art up there that anybody can take.
Now if it gets too loud.
So you're welcome to.
It's not going across.
Well, that's perfectly fine because my understanding is that club is actually about to switch over to using NetLogger, which to me is a wonderful thing because NetLogger is actually Linux native, where the 3905 logger is only Windows. So I'm all for that change.
Yeah.
Right there with you.
Yeah,
I stopped going on Century Club because of the logger, because it cost however much, and then when they had the huge fallout where Dean just up and quit, closed the bureau, took people's money, shut off his logger, and then they said, well, you know, the new creator, the new writer, AC0ZG, said, well, we can just make NetLogger better, put people on their own servers. One of the best features about it is that you have the chat right there, the almost instant message. You don't have that capability with Century Club. So I go on once in a blue moon.
I had to run an entire Windows virtual machine just to run the N7XG logger, which was such a pain in the ass for me. I am so happy that they're making that this whole thing happened and they're making this switch over to NetLogger. It's just going to make my life a whole lot easier.
Yeah, people are complaining about it, but they won't complain too much about it afterwards. They're going to see that.
Once they understand the NetLogger and how it works and everything that it gives them, plus access to all the other that are out there, I mean, it's going to be a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it makes my life easier when I'm running my nets too.
So which net? Oh, you were on OMIS. I'm an OMIS member. So.
What's your number?
96164.
9614.
96164.
What's your call sign?
K5TUX.
K5TUX? We need to get on. We haven't worked.
I don't
5 and 9.
5 and 9, yes.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm having a real hard time with that here. I'm in the hotel room with my wife down in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm
Okay.
home tonight, so I missed the show to watch it on the YouTube. It's
Okay.
really chopping in and out here, so I'm not going to try holding it. So 73 to you guys.
All right. 73.
Mike.
73.
Bye-bye.
And
7-3, Mike.
7-3, Mike.
as always, oh boy, this audio's hot here, huh? As always, our shows are recorded and it'll be available tonight. If anybody missed it.
What's your miss number?
8648. 8648.
Well, next time I get on an Ole Miss note, I will definitely check. Look for you.
I am on every Monday night. I run the 40-meter net on Mondays. I try to get on a little more often, but the way schedules were, I used to run the Friday night early net for 2.5 years, and that just, it kind of took its toll. Like I ran the net last night, started at 8:30, and I finished it at like 12:45 Eastern time. It was great, but all of a sudden the conditions just tanked.
Yeah, I understand, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. At least I hope I remember my number being 96164. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I can even go look it up.
Yeah, that's easy to do. I'm just gonna go to OMIS.net and look it up for you.
Yeah.
Right there at the top there.
Eric, whereabouts in Jersey are you?
You're 9947, John. 9947.
9947. Yeah, that's it. I remember that now.
I'm
My name
located.
is Bruce, by the way. I hate the fact that I was given the name John and no one ever used it because it's such a pain to try and explain to people that my name is Russ. Because when it comes up, anything that comes up out of the ULS or QRZ or HAMQTH or anything like that shows my name is John, and I'm like, if you walk into a room and say, "Hey, John," I'm not going to look up. So.
Well, if you go to the OMIS website, you can actually edit your profile and you can make your name appear as Russ. We had a guy from West Virginia, and I think he changed his name to Buckshot or Top Gun or something like that. And because if you're not a member, it'll hit the QRZ lookup.
That's
Right.
not the same as transgender, is it?
Yeah.
That's not something you handle there, Doc.
No, I don't do that.
Realignment surgery or anything like that?
No, I don't do that.
Wow. Yeah, I can't touch that one because there is actually two that I know of on the net that are actually.
Okay, well, we'll move on.
Who asked where I was from? Jeff?
I did.
I am located
Jeff
in
did.
the northwest corner off of exit 34 and Route 80. So if you know Jersey at all, I'm in Morris County, and I can probably spit on the Rockaway Mall from here.
I'm a Jersey boy, so I used to live in Hunterdon County and also in Plainfield. Two different stints, and in Hunterdon County, I was up in near Highbridge, and a long time ago, my grandmother had a place in Round Valley, which turned into a reservoir. So that got flooded or taken over when I was a kid, which was very sad. But yeah, so that's my. I went to high school around there too, North Hunterdon Regional. So that's a old stomping grounds. I liked it.
I got a lot of friends.
I know 3 things about Jersey. 1, my best friend is from South Jersey. 2, the company I used to work for is in Livingston, New Jersey. And 3, you can drive through New Jersey as fast as you can go. It's I-95.
We got Kurt in here.
One second, I'll be right back, guys.
WA2JSG. He's up in Salem County.
All I know is that Jersey was a blur when I was headed to D.C.
Well, it's often a blur. Yeah, it can be a blur. Yeah, it's but people think, it's funny because people think, Jersey is a bada bing, or it's either bada bing or it's Jersey Shore, and it is. I mean, I spent a lot of time at Jersey Shore, but there's more. There's woods, or there used to be woods anyway, and up in Hunterdon County, up in that wild northern end there, and there's some pretty wild spots down in the southern part too. I think down in the Pine Barrens and.
Into WKS is Livingston.
Yep.
I always thought it was odd that it was called. I always thought it was odd that it was called the Garden State, because I always think of Jersey as being heavily populated.
Jersey is beautiful, though.
It really is.
Well, yeah, it depends. Like it used to be the place. Everybody used to talk in the New York area. They'd always talk about like or in Jersey too. Jersey tomatoes. That was the ultimate. Was the you go out, you get some Jersey tomatoes, and that kind of thing.
Well, hey, Kurt's saying he lives in the 51st state, South Jersey. Is that a new state down there?
Yes, there is a difference between North Jersey and South Jersey and Central Jersey. It's a big war. I lived in Hopatcong for 35 years. It's the largest man-made lake, and it's a lot of fun.
South Jersey is northern Maryland, and northern Jersey is southern New York. So
we got a hello from Graham down in Australia. VK6RO said hello to everybody.
Hey,
well, good night.
Down under.
Good
night. It's almost a herd.
Victor Kilo 6 Romeo Oscar.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Now he can come up here and kill me.
I've got a video here. He recorded a video for us, a little promo. I don't know if I can find it. Let's see. I'm not sure where it is. I'll have to play it for him on here one night.
You know what the Joey's in the Woollabura?
Thought you were talking Jersey for a minute with the Joey. Hey, Joey.
See, the problem is I'm from Boston, so my Australia comes out like Kennedy.
Well, I used to.
Oh my God!
I used to live in Memphis too. Where in Boston were you?
No, I actually grew up in New Hampshire.
Where in New Hampshire were you? I was there too.
Hampton.
Hampton.
Yep.
Where? We're in here.
Hampton, down on the beach.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, down by those brookers.
Yeah, we on the beach.
Yep.
Do you know the brookers?
Oh, the Seabrookers?
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Seabrookers, big time, yeah.
So is it true you got a line drawn in New Jersey between the Giant fans and the Eagle fans?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! Don't go there.
Let's go back to the transgender thing, sir.
No, Doc, we don't want to go there.
A little less controversial.
You want to really strike
what I
up
was
some
thinking.
controversy?
That's what I was
Really?
thinking, sir.
Trump won all 5 primaries tonight. That's controversy.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, see? Silence.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk about the
This is
Trumpster.
a no politics zone here, so.
Yeah.
That's
No,
right. We don't
I
do
laugh-
politics.
I heard
Now
that.
we'll talk about colonoscopies, but we don't talk
Oh
about
yeah, we'll talk about those.
we don't talk about
What do you want,
no, we
what do
won't.
you want to know?
They all
Going
need
where no man has
colonoscopy.
gone before, so.
They all
I'll
need
watch a colonoscopy before I watch Trump on a platform. I'll tell you that right.
There you go. There you go. Christian K0SH was putting a comment on the other day on Facebook about 7,200 up on 40 meters, and they were talking about colonoscopies, and they were talking about all sorts of stuff. That's just one of that's like the new what is it, Jeff? 14313. That's the new one.
Yeah.
No.
That frequency is just, and then 7185 during the daytime is out of control at times, and that's 2 of the guys on that 7185 got fined by the FCC finally a couple years ago for not IDing and stuff. But
I thought it was for practicing medicine without a license or something.
Yeah, that's legal. That's legal now that we have Obamacare. That's legal, guys.
Doc, did you pull another one out of the bag? What do you got there now?
Same one.
Oh, that's the same one?
With same kind.
Oh, you
It's
just...
a Macanudo Classico Cafe.
Oh,
Whoa. You're not working that thing. You got another one in there. You're going through it like wildfire.
Well, I started this one while the show was going on, so the other one anyway. So
Well, it's lasting a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I had this one earlier. It's a Macanudo Cigarillo.
So Russ, a little birdie has told me that you've missed Self for the last couple of years, SCLF. I don't know what that is, but you've missed it.
It's the Southeast Linux Fest, and that's in North Carolina. And I got to tell you, I would love to go there as soon as they decide to pay for me to go, because North Carolina is a hell of a long drive for me.
Hey, it is for you're over in Missouri, aren't you?
I'm in southwestern Missouri near Oklahoma.
Yeah, southwest. Yeah, well, I'm
yeah,
right.
that's
I'm
a
right.
long
I'm in Western
drive.
Tennessee, and it's a long
you
ways.
got some bad weather moving toward you too.
Yeah, we got a home over in North Carolina, and it's a long drive for us from Memphis too, man. It's 8 to 10 hour drive.
We went to South Linux Fest twice, but I mean we just couldn't afford it anymore. I mean it's way too much of a trip.
I was watching the weather on Oklahoma City television a while ago, and they were about to get hammered up there.
According to Weather Channel, right about midnight 12:30 or so is when we're supposed to get that weather. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm actually in Arkansas right now, but
Are you?
yeah,
Kansas. Ooh, doggy.
Kansas. That's right.
Arkansas.
Not only out here, but flipping.
That's Tom's old stomping
Yeah, you
ground.
guys be careful talking about Arkansas. That's where I was born and raised.
I heard somebody call
In the Air Force, I had this friend in the Air Force from Kansas, and I never could get him straightened out on the rivers. It was always the big Arkansas and a little Arkansas.
Depends on which side of the border you're on.
Man, 20's still open. I'm going to try my JT65 again. If you guys hear it, please just let me know.
Yeah, we were hearing it earlier.
Yeah, that was a mic.
Yeah.
That was the microphone selection. I can't believe I actually did that. You won't. I think I don't even have the software on it. If you would still be hearing it right now, if there was anything.
I just installed WSJTX on my Hamshack PC, so I'm going to start doing some JT65 here pretty quick.
I've been having such a I've been having such a blast with it. Something's wrong here. Why are you doing this to me today, computer?
Well, Bob Heil will be happy to know that you're using a bunch of his equipment there, because he's from Missouri too, just like I am. So he's we'll tell him that you're using his equipment there.
I kind of started helping out. Originally, it was just to help out with the Ham Nation net, and after my first net, I get an email from DX Engineering that says my package is on the way. Because I will put my Ustream channel on when I'm doing it, or when I'm doing my own misnets. So like the next day, I got my DX Engineering hat, and I got a whole bunch of stickers. So I said, what am I supposed to do with those? And they says, well, that's your swag. So I forget who emailed me. I think Dale was like, yep. Because if you look behind me, I have moved my shack. My original shack was up in a nice office. The wife's up in the office now. So I'm in the basement. A lot better down here, too. It's a lot cooler. So I got to, like,
I
build it
thought
up
you were
a
in a
little.
submarine there for a little while.
I feel like it sometimes. I did 4 years in the Navy. I was on a submarine, but I no thank you. I can't ever do that. But yeah, Bob made a comment one day. He's like, yeah, you sound so much better on your Heil microphones than the MC60. I said, well, it's because it's quality. It's quality. And I actually listened to him. I actually went to his website, and because I had the TS2000, I sounded like crap in the beginning. But you go to his site, and he's got all the Heil sound, got all the explanations. Makes a huge difference. Wow. And I don't have like all the mixing boards. Like I think Tom, you got a mix. Do you have a mixing board there? The big old audio mixing board. I know.
Well, yeah. Let me see if I got a. Let me see here. Hang on a second.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go. I'm going to go to Audio Alley.
All right.
And I'm going to bring my Audio Technica 2050 up there and start broadcasting. And hopefully Bob will just say, "Oh no, you got to be using one of mine," and he'll just give me one.
Oh yeah. Okay. I don't know if you can. I got this. This is what we usually use for the show here. It's like a 8-channel for our show. And this is, of course, this is where our show is right here.
I see some Behringer.
That's a Behringer. Yeah, that's a Behringer there. I've got a Behringer over here on the with the radios, the rig, and trying to.
I gave up on Behringer years ago. That's not
really?
It's too much noise in the audio.
So I bought me another Behringer, and it's got a little bit more capability. You can see this is the one here, and then I picked this one up the other day. Probably use that for the show. This one does a lot.
Yeah, that's got the slide pods.
Yeah, and it's got mute buttons and which is good, and it's got quite a bit of other options that this little one doesn't have.
I started using a Behringer Xenix, but it introduced so much noise into the audio channel, I had to drop it. I was actually using an Allen and Heath for a while, but that thing was so big I had to get rid of it. But now I'm using a rack-mounted Alesis, which is really nice for audio mixing. So.
Yeah, here's part of my shack. I have to cover it with a green. There's my green screen. Actually, I don't use a green screen, but.
That looked like a TS2000. Was that?
It's a TS2000 there.
Yeah.
There's a 570. There's a 570 to 2000. There's
570?
There's 820 right there, and
which 570 do you got, Tom?
It's the I don't know. It's got the it's 570S.
It's S or SG.
Well. It says S, but it says S on it, but what's the SD have on it?
A tough room here.
does
I'm running a 570 Delta. I love that rig like nobody's business. So.
Yeah, this one. Well, what's the difference between a Delta? This one goes up through 6 meters, I think.
Yeah, the S does 6 meters. Mine doesn't. Mine's just 10 meters.
There's a 220 rig. We're pretty popular on 220 here in Memphis, and then there's some D-Star stuff, and then there's some more dual band stuff over here, VHF, UHF, and.
Wow, that's an old Kenwood. What, 520? 520S?
Yeah, that's an 820.
820.
That's an 820 with the remote VFO and remote VFO and there's the radio and the speaker and a tuner.
My first rig I ever used was a TS520S. That was the first.
Yeah.
I fell in love with Kenwood from that day on.
Yeah, there's part of our workbench over there.
I had a 520 at one time.
That's our workbench.
Nice rig.
And then
I've never used any other HF but Kenwood. I mean, I just love them. Lots of friends of mine had Yaesu stuff, and it didn't do it for me like Kenwood does.
So I got a question in the chat room. Let's see.
I think Kenwood has got the perfect level of simplicity versus sophistication. They have exactly matched the number of features you need to the stuff you'll actually use. For my money, Kenwood all the way.
They've always been known for good audio.
And receive audio is outstanding on Kenwood, yeah.
All right,
I used to work at Ham Radio Outlet. I was a weekend warrior clerk in Salem, New Hampshire, and I did when I got back into radio after 40 years or something like that. So it was like this whole new world, but it was fascinating to see all the all the new stuff. And
you know what I did in Salem, New Hampshire?
What's that?
I went to Canopy Lake Park. That's where I went to New Hampshire.
Oh my God!
That's a slippery slope to Benson's Animal Farm.
Yes, I've been there too. Yep,
Oh wow! That brings back. Oh my God!
Am I still sounding okay? Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I got a question. I got a question in the chat room. N2WKS, other than my 30-meter delta loop, what antennas? I usually only wire antennas right now. When I moved to Memphis, I never put my tower back up. My tower and tri-band beam and stuff's stored in a friend's barn. But I work about as much on wire antennas as I ever worked with my beam. I've got around my house here. I've got really nice trees. I've got some 80, 90-foot trees all around my house here, and so I've got some 80 inverted V's. Actually, I got a 80, 40, and 20 inverted V. I've got a 17 inverted V. I've got a 40-meter delta loop.
Nice.
That I can use on 40 up through 6. I put that 30-meter delta loop up for Heard Island. I've got a vertical. I got a 65-foot vertical out there with an auto antenna tuner at the base and buried radios in the yard. I've got an acre lot back there, so I buried me a bunch of radios. And then let's see what other antennas. That's probably it. Mostly just wire antennas.
Did you ever look at the Eagle One there, Tom?
The what?
Eagle One.
What is the Eagle One?
It's they put it. They got it in QST, and it is manufactured in Ohio. A couple of the Iukas there have it for their RVs. It's got kind of like got a stand, and this is I guess it's a wire. It's a wire goes up through tubular. Tubulars, and you can set it any length there.
I think I know what you're talking about. No, I hadn't. I don't have any experience with it. I mean, I got so many trees and so many wires. I can put a wire out for about anything. And I like all my antennas resonant. I don't like a tuner at the radio. First of all, if you run coax, you shouldn't put a tuner at the radio. Tuner doesn't help the antenna, I don't think, at all. It just keeps the radio from getting too excited. So all my antennas I put up, I like to put up resonant antennas. That way, if I want to run a legal limit on them, I can, easily. So.
I live on 10 acres where there are no trees, so I have exactly one place to put an antenna, and that's on my house. So
Wow.
I've got 120-foot Alpha Delta DXCC running inverted V attached to both ends of my house. I have to rely on my antenna tuner, and I rely on the fact that my house has a metal roof to increase the takeoff of my signal. So, but I've talked all over the world on 100 watts and that stupid, trap dipole. So I'm not going to change a thing.
Yeah, and and another reason I wouldn't tune my antennas through the coax. I mean, my first 135 feet of coax was buried. So, why would I want to tune that? So.
You want to come out and plant some trees for me? I'll be happy to.
Well, you could probably put you a piece of tower up or something out the end out there, and you could probably get you a good long wire or something.
Up. Get yourself a flagpole, and you can use a dipole.
Oh, I'm using a dipole. I got a 40-foot mast up in the middle of my house, and the ends of it tied to the ends. So,
in the Air Force, we used a lot of V antennas that. One tall mast, and they went down in a V toward the ground, and I think they were terminated on each end at the ground. And those were some pretty good antennas. I need to look into that.
Hey, it works out all right. I mean, unless I'm trying to work. My antenna is only 80 to 10, so I can probably get about 30 watts out on 160 if I want to talk to neighboring states or get on an HF net on 160 meters, but. I don't know. I figure if I can't work it on my setup with 100 watts, I don't care.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, guys, this is
James, you haven't
10:24.
said anything.
What was that, Doc?
I said James is watching down there. He hasn't said anything yet.
James is here.
We've all been monopolizing the chat here.
He's
James.
he's in
Yeah.
profile down there.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess we just talk too much. James hadn't said much anything.
James Sanders. James, are you copying?
Yeah, James, your mic may be muted. Your mic may be muted. There's a little up the top, a little microphone with a line through it. You can click on it possibly. Now he just there he is.
Over to the chat room and saw that Kilo 4 Echo Whiskey Tango is saying that he missed us at Southeast Linux Fest, which you already mentioned, Tom.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I want to say sorry, Ben. I would love to be out at Southeast Linux Fest, and as soon as somebody wants to send me, a few $100 to actually drive out to North Carolina, I'll be there. I mean, I have no problem with that whatsoever.
So what's James holding up here? Let me look. Hold it up here, James. Let me see what that is. Exhibitor. Yeah, James.
Oh,
Scale.
South California Linux Expo. Nice. I was actually invited to go out there as well too, but you know what? It's even a further drive to California than it is to North Carolina. So,
Well, James, if your mic's not working, you maybe don't have a mic, or James, one thing is look in your setup at the top, the little tools setup. You might just need to select your internal mic or something if your laptop has an internal mic. So, at the top of Hangout, there's a little button that looks like this little toolbar, and settings, and select the microphone, and we'll probably hear you.
well, while he's trying to figure that out, for me, Hamvention has been kind of the holy grail of places to go for my particular podcast, but second on the list is definitely Scale, because they attract a whole bunch of open source enthusiasts out there.
Mhm.
But it's a long drive from Missouri to California.
You betcha.
All right, so Jeff,
Yeah.
you got on tonight without any trouble. Had you been on Hangout before, or did you just click on the link?
No, I just clicked on the link and there it was. I'm amazed how well it works. Really, this computer stuff is just amazing.
Well, let me tell you, Hangout can be kind of confusing for people sometimes, and it was just amazing how easy you came in tonight.
Yeah. I'm very, very impressed, and I can hear everybody. It's pretty neat.
And just think, all this is still being recorded on the show. So if you watch the show tomorrow.
Oh no!
Yeah, if you watch the show tomorrow and go to the end of the show, all this is on the show. People are watching us right now.
Oh,
Have you all seen the new thing where you can stream live on Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's frightening. Jeez.
I've done some periscoping. Dr. Tamitha Scobe, when she does her solar report, will periscope. That's pretty neat too.
Periscope never took off for my particular group of social media friends. Periscope never sort of did the thing that other stuff did, but I'm wondering if broadcasting live via Facebook is really not going to take off. I bet it will, as popular as Facebook is.
Well, today alone, Robert Downey Jr. was on. There was a whole bunch of different live streams that just kind of kept coming on, and I think Robert Downey Jr. had like 50,000 people. Let's say it's at 50K. I didn't connect to it because I was busy and I didn't know what it was about. But yeah, I think Facebook is definitely going to, I've always enjoyed Ustream. I mean, I use Ustream, and everybody kind of enjoys it. I didn't know this was going to be recorded. I would have.
Well, we used Ustream. We used
like 50,000 viewers, because like when I'm doing a podcast, if the number of viewers gets above like 4, I'm like amazed. So
We used Ustream for a long time, and I kept getting complaints on the webcast. People say it's buffering. I can't stand this. It's buffering. But then other people would say, I'm getting it fine for the past hour, no trouble. So I think what it is their distribution around the country, different servers. So Ustream was not that great. We went over to YouTube here 6 months ago or whatever, and moved our webcast to YouTube, and we really have not had a single complaint. Once we went over, we haven't had a single complaint. Plus, it automatically records the show for me, and it's up there. Whereas on Stream, I had to tell it to record, and I had to stop it, and then I had to.
Broadcasting via like a Google Hangout onto YouTube is probably the easiest way to get a good, solid live broadcast out to the most number of people. I mean,
wait a minute. Hey, you know what? VK6RO says the phone is ringing. No answer. Wait a minute. Let's see what's going on here. I think he's trying to call us. I think he's trying to call us from Australia. VK6RO, call again. I was not watching the telephone. Let's see if you can call in again. It'll take
I love the submarine.
probably a minute here. N2 WKS says our stream tonight's been solid all night. That's good. All right, Graham, VK6RO down under Australia. Give us a call again. Let's see why our phone's not working.
I want to hear from Australia.
Yeah.
Jeff, I enjoyed you talking about the Remco stuff. I'd forgotten all about that. I had a Remco crystal radio set.
Yep.
That my first radio, actually.
Yeah, that was great stuff. I wanted the crystal set. I didn't get that. When I got a little older, I actually got a Daystrom crystal set, which was, I don't know, there was some relation to Heath, but it wasn't branded as Heath. And I would, I built that, and I'd lay in bed, and I used the bunk bed spring above my brother's bunk for the antenna, and I would adjust it by kicking him in the bed.
Okay, guys, let's see. I think we may have Australia on the phone here. Who's on the phone? Hello. Let's see. Phone. Who's on the phone? Hello. Somebody's on the phone.
Excuse me.
Hello. I think
one of those 1-900 calls again, Tom.
Yeah, I think he. I told him I was going to reset the phone, but somebody dialed right back in. I think he's on. His phone may have butt dialed, and he don't know it. I hear people talking in the background. Hello. Oh, there's ringing again. Let me check it. Let me get it here. Hello. Who's calling?
Yeah, VK6RO.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Hey, good day.
Yeah, I just, you said you wanted to test your phone, so I thought I'd test it for you, Tom.
Well, I tell you what, you're doing a good job. I know you use minutes up down there. You called in once before and about used all your minutes up, but I really appreciate it. And VK6RO, he's a regular on here. He's on the show nearly every single night. And he made us a little promo video. I'll have to try to play it next week. So how's things going down in Australia? I guess it's starting to be winter time down there, right?
Oh, it's freezing, absolutely freezing in Perth. It's probably 65, 67 degrees, and I'm really cold.
Oh, wow.
Really cold.
So it must be getting pretty hot
and
there.
One thing, I've got $200 of overseas calls this month on my mobile, so that's not a problem. Free $200 per call. So what's your WX up there today?
Well, hey, I'm glad you called us, and thanks for calling us and trusting us to be your webcast that you'd like to call into. So I guess you saw the show tonight. What do you think about the 14-year-old ham? That guy was sharp, wasn't he?
Yeah, I didn't see that. I usually watch after. I was vacuuming the house, but I watch it after when you're all sleeping.
Okay, yeah. Well, you watch it. You're going to be really, I think, impressed with this 14-year-old ham.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, I'll let you go there, Tom, and we'll catch you later sometime. Cheers to everybody up over. See you
Okay,
later.
cheers.
Right.
See you later. VK6RO, we'll see you. Thanks.
Oh, that's too bad. I was going to ask him where in Australia he was.
I forget where he is. I did know. I think he may be in Perth.
Western Australia, I think.
Are you still on, Graham? Are you still there, Graham?
I think he's in Western Australia, Tom.
Oh, okay. Is that where Perth is?
Yes. Perth,
I think he's in Perth.
Yeah, because I went and I got when I was in the Navy, I got a license down there. Let me see, what year was it? 83, 84. VK6 AWP was my call down there. We were there for Christmas and New Year's, and I set up my Yaesu 757 in the halo deck there, and had a G5 RV, the long G5 RV, and I stuck it up on a pole and ran it down on the flight deck on the back there. And of course, the captain come down and wanted to know what the heck I was doing. And I said, "Well, I asked permission, and you said I could do it, you know." So no, it was awesome. I mean, I even had to get down to. I was in Fremantle, so I had to get on the train, go to Perth, pay my 36 Australian dollars in order to get my license, and I mean, you know, it was really cool.
Yeah, I got a license in Korea back in '71. My car was HL9KT, and I don't remember if I ever paid anything for that. To tell you the truth, I'm sure it must have been some kind of fee. But again, I don't know. I was in the military. That was probably issued. That was probably issued somehow through the military.
No, in Romeo, Alaska, you can call me up and punch me in the mouth because I'm butchering your accent. Yeah.
Oh, did you say you were coming to Dayton?
Who are you talking to?
Did you say you were coming to Dayton? At the gentleman whose picture's there now.
I think you're asking Russ. I think you're asking.
Guy.
Are you talking to me? Because if you're talking to me, yeah, I'll be there.
Oh, okay. Well, you come, okay? Because VK5JK will be there, and you can talk to him.
Are you talking to me?
We'll get punched in the mouth, like I said.
Yeah, you're talking to him.
Victor Kilo 5. That sounds awfully familiar. We have our podcast has a lot of Australian and Kiwi listeners.
He's on. Where is he? I'm trying to think. He's on the east. Wait a minute. Yeah, he's on the west. No, he's eastern. He's eastern about halfway up. I can't remember what the thing is, but he's a member of the IOOK, and he said he's on his way. So that's all I know.
You know, we probably had a problem with the phone tonight. The reason nobody called in, I just reset it there, and that's when Graham called. So our phone.
You want me to call in, Tom? I'll call in.
Our phone was probably stuck. That's what it was. Oh, what are you drinking here, Jeff? Is that Ovaltine?
It looks like a giant glass of chocolate milk.
Looks like Ovaltine.
You got it.
There it is, man.
Drink
right.
your Ovaltine.
I didn't know they still. I didn't know they still made that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Breakfast
That's horrible. No,
I think Jeff buys it to get the secret decoder ring.
Nothing keeps me up all night. I'm banned like that. I'm gone. No, this is good though. I had the mug, Captain Midnight, the whole deal. The decoder ring and everything. Big fan, and I don't
Jeff,
know. I lost my. Go ahead.
Do you ever remember like a breadboard kind of thing called electronics? You had little pieces that you would plug into a board.
A pegboard on yellow plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
And they had the little jiffy clips.
That's right, Chip. No soldering. Now, let me tell you, this sounds terrible. It sounds like we had this arranged, but if you get my book, I did. It's there. That kit is there. And that's what I built another crystal radio on, and I cover that in my first book of Dash. And the thing of it was, I got that kit, and I was really kind of disappointed because what I wanted was I would get these old books out of the library, you know, from the 20s and the 30s, and they'd have like these crystal sets built on the wood, you know, the breadboard stuff, and these big, you know, national vernier, velvet vernier dials and everything. And I just thought that was the nuts. And you know, and how do you explain this to your parents? You know, you can't. You know, I said, you know, they looked at me like a couple of goldfish waiting for their shrimp flakes or something. You know, they just, you know. So I wound up getting that for Christmas, which was, you know, they were trying their best and everything, but I wanted the real thing, you know, with the cat whisker and all that stuff. I was a strange kid.
All right, who we got on the phone?
It comes as a shock, I'm sure, but
Jeff.
My favorite project was the one where you could transmit into the FM radio. You know,
yeah.
Hey guys, stand by a minute. We got a caller. Who do we have on the phone?
Hey Tom, me testing your line. I'm on the Hangout with you, H6F Jim.
Oh gee, I'm hearing a little bit of buzz. Who is this again?
This is the guy. The right-hand corner picture in the bottom there.
Oh, the corner picture in the bottom. Let's see. Corner picture in the bottom.
I'm on the Hangout with you.
Is that Bill?
Just testing your line.
Is that
Sounds
Bill?
pretty good.
Okay.
It sounds like William. Yeah.
Hey Jeff.
Yes.
Cool.
How come your name shows up as Dashel? Are you a middle name, Jeff?
That's some artifact of an email address or so. That's the full name of my character Dash. His full name is Dashel Ham Mutt. Kind of after the detective writer, but yeah. So
nice.
So he's, but I think that might be on one of my emails or something like that. So that's why I think it got up there.
I just thought you were another middle namer like me, who has to go through life explaining to people that even though my name is John, no one ever calls me that.
Yeah, no, I don't discuss my middle name, so that's
okay.
Yeah, it's
well, guys, it's getting late here. I think I'm going to get off. You guys can stay on, hang out and talk all night if you want to. I'm going to shut the webcast down. So you can really talk about anything now. Nobody will be watching.
I don't think anyone's holding back.
But we're glad that we had some new people on here tonight. Eric, glad you got in here tonight.
I appreciate it,
and
Tom.
James,
I'll be in more often.
Yeah, and also James is in here.
I think that was James that was on the phone, wasn't it?
Well, I'm confused. He says the guy on the bottom end of the picture, and that right now I'm seeing Bill on the end of mine. I don't know what you're seeing, if they're in the same order or not.
Yeah, I've got Bill, Dashel, Don, James, Russ, you, and then me. But it looked like James had a phone in his ear, but he's now off now. He's no longer there.
I think that your own is always going to be on the bottom right. So.
Yeah, whoever's speaking.
Well,
and that's because I'm sending it back. See, I'm sending it back, so that bottom right is me showing you what's on the webcast. So you're going to see yourself twice, probably.
Is it Whiskey Zulu 1 Fox? Is that?
He's on here. That's Bill.
Zulu 1 Lima.
That's Bill.
Berry, Massachusetts.
Bill, sorry. Whiskey Zulu 1 Lima. All right. Just want to remember that for later.
Yeah, you'll see me at Dayton with his hat. So I mean, I'll be by Tom's booth.
No, I'm going to do my own booth, so you're going to have to see me because I don't generally.
Hey, you want to know something? I want to come by and see you because I want to do this. What is it? Raspberry Pi. And I understand that there's Linux, stuff that you got to do in there. And I mean, I took, what was it? C and Visual Basic and something else there when I was in college, but I don't remember Linux. I know they had a what was it? A message system for the college. I went to the University of Massachusetts in South Boston, and their system there was Linux, and I didn't like it, so I went on Hotmail.
All right. Well, you know where we are. We're right across from the Scooter Round booth, so I expect to see you.
Scooters, yeah.
Well,
All right.
Give me a little more on the Scooter Round. I have no clue where that is.
East Hall.
So the handicap.
H625. Just look for Linux in the Ham Shack on the web. You'll find us. If not, we'll come hunt you down.
Well, I'll be out there with the IOC, as you can see the blue flag there above the flea market. You used to be next to where Tom was out there when he was out there.
I used to be out there next to him for years. They finally ran me off. Yeah. All right, guys, send me through to everybody. I'm shutting down. Good night. Let's see. If I shut down, I guess I ought to do a, let's see. I guess I ought to do one of these things.
Have a good night.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's free, Tom. Thanks a
Dun,
lot.
dun, 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 dun,
This is where we put up the flag and we have the American anthem playing. Remember that? Here for the evening.
Yeah.
I used to work at an old AM station. Their sign-off there was some canned statement in it, and it used the phrase "electrical transcription."
There it is.
Okay. Oh yeah. That's
Just so we're clear, will you work with us like poor, penniless, nonprofit type folks?
You mean, will I do it for free?
No, I didn't say will you do it for free. I said will you work with us?
Oh, I'll work with you, sure. Yes. Yes, I will.
All right, that's all I need to know. I'll be in
Okay.
touch.
Sure. Yeah, I do that.
And I remember that guy when he worked at HRO.
What guy?
That guy.
Me? You remember
Yeah,
me?
work at
You do
New Hampshire,
not.
right?
I'm sorry?
I said you worked at Salem, New Hampshire.
I did. Yes, I did. I worked.
I remember you.
Did you? No, you didn't. Did you?
I used to come up there all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, if you came up on weekends, I was there, and I was the guy.
Yeah. Do you remember? Let me see. Steve Marshall, N1FSK?
Yes.
Or W1FSK?
Yeah, Steve, and then I'm trying to think of the guy who Peter. There was Peter. Was
Yes, Peter.
the manager, and the other guys I don't remember, but I was the guy that they trusted to sell QSTs and SO239 connectors. So
Yeah, I remember that.
that was I did not a bad job with that, but I wasn't. Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to remember who. Let's see, the manager before him. He moved to. He went back to Woodbridge, I think, because when it was EGE and they put it up there, they sent him up as manager in Salem, and then when it changed over to HRO, he went back to North Virginia, I think. I think he went back to Woodbridge. That's all I remember, because I remember he was in Woodbridge and then moved north, and I go, "What are you doing here?"
Well, I love. Yes. When I was
Jeff, Eric, everybody, we'll see you later. I'll be in touch. Take care.
Guys, I just gave the weather. We're signing off right now. All right.
Check out the podcast, 7-3.
Take
All right.
care.
We'll see you later.
Oh no, what's this?
There he is. Oh, you should see that station that he's got there. I got pictures of it when he's not on the air. It's really a nice place there, and I think he said he was in Studio 2.
Yeah, we're in Studio. Well, actually, we're in Studio 1 tonight. This is Studio 1 right
Studio
here.
1, but you do have Studio 2, right?
Yeah, there's Studio 2 right there. That's Studio 2 right there. Bring it in close, cameraman. Kind of zoom out a little bit if you can. There you go. That's Studio 2.
And he pulls that curtain in the back there, and his ham station is to his right.
We've got let's see. I'm not sure if I got a shot for Studio 3 or not. That may be.
I like the space one, Tom.
You like the space one. You like that one right there?
Yeah.
What I'm gonna try to do is when my astronaut friends here that Thursday night spending the night here with me, I'm gonna get him in here and we're gonna record a segment for everybody. You know. So.
The worst jokes are the best jokes.
Where's
exactly.
Oh man.
I didn't get
like that. I like that. That shows you thinking.
This was a lot of fun. A lot of fun, Tom. I think this roundtable idea is such a wonderful idea. It's you get the shows. Like Ham Nation's got the chat room, which is really great, and the question asking, but just kind of the interacting it's really a great idea, and it's Google Hangouts. It's a maximum of 10, right?
Yeah, I can have up to 10 in here, and this is how we control the show. If you're looking, this is everything is software driven on the show. You can see the mouse. I don't know if you can see the mouse down here or not, but all the different shots would be selected by the mouse, different shots and so forth, and then of course let's see, mic inputs are all mic, music, all that stuff is the same. Lower thirds, we can put lower thirds on and so forth, and so yeah, I'm doing all that myself, not behind the scenes, but kind of in front of the scenes as I talk with people. Sometimes I get a little involved in some of the things. Let me see. Let me go back to. So you can see here's my position here. We've got 5 computers networked for the show. This one runs the audio to the radio station, and I've got the chat room. This one runs the webcast. This one runs our Skype and Hangout. This one over here is my telephone, and I use it for like PowerPoint and pictures and things like that. Of course, there's our mixers for the show. Kathy usually sits over here with another computer right there. And then we've got, if we have a guest or something here, we've got another computer over here for him. And there's the camera up on the tripod. And I've taken down my teleprompter, so you can see I'm not using a very fancy teleprompter tonight. So that's what I use tonight.
Better than my sleeve.
That what?
I have to write my stuff on my sleeve, so that's
yeah. So it's. So that's kind of what I use tonight, and then we on the wall back here we got a monitor, and then of course we got some lights in here and stuff, and it's fairly complex for one person to try to run everything, but we're managing and we're making it happen.
Tom, I'm wondering if you ever have done, or maybe when you started out you did it and you just changed to this the set that you use now, the various pictures of the set. Have you ever done the show unplugged, with just your shack in the background and stuff? I behind me, directly behind me, I've got a window back here, so that's kind of ugly looking.
Yeah.
So I hung a banner. I started out and we hung a banner behind the show, which looks like this. We had a banner back there.
Yeah.
And it looked so bad that this is actually green screen here. So this looks a lot better.
Yeah,
The banner looked really bad. So we went with the green screen, and once we learned how to do some of these things, we went with this. I gotta do a little adjust. Let's see. I need to set that matchbox right there a little bit.
Because I find just like in the group discussion here with the different, especially like with the submarine basements, that's very interesting to me visually. I enjoy that a lot, to look in other people's shacks and just see the other stuff, and I like that a lot. Now that's just me, and I just have goofy taste, so maybe other people would say, what the hell is this? But that to me is pretty cool, and I like to see, I don't want to see everybody's thing look the same. It's the differences are always interesting to me. I just love this laundry basket over here and stuff, but it's great.
Well,
I'm serious, it's interesting to me. It's real.
We'll get some good clean shacks, and we'll get some pretty bad ones. That's just the way it is. But that's one of the things I wanted to make this program about other people and about other hams instead of us just doing the program.
Sure.
So this part's very informal, and if people don't like it, they can leave at the end of the show. But we usually have a lot more fun right here.
Yeah, it's because to me, like the whole ham radio thing, it's a ham in his shack. It's just like and everybody's shack is a little different. It's a little, it's reflective of your style, and I love that. And I like to see all the different kinds of shacks, and to be in it. It's a cozy thing. It's a fun thing.
Yeah. That's our studio. That's Studio 3.
Some of this. What we're doing now into the show, I think that's neat.
Mm-hmm.
I really think it's neat.
All right,
hey, Tom, I got a news flash for you there.
What's that?
On Saturday, the 23rd, we did a tech in a day. Started at 8 o'clock in the morning and got over about 3:30, quarter of 4. We had 21 individuals show up. 20 walked out with a technician license, so I think that's pretty good stuff there. Let's see. I think we got 216 people now. We've done it since 2009. We do it every 6 months, and I think that's one of the better things for amateur radio there. So
good stuff.
Yeah. I see William NE4RD. He's back on. He'll join us here real quick and say hi to us. Let's see if he's got his cigar lit up. Let's see. Russ says he'll get back on if Bill gets back on. Let's see. He wanted to know if it's still going on. I said yeah. So yeah. When he comes on, and you're going to run downstairs and get on. When he comes on now, we're going to tell him we're talking about parasites and tapeworms tonight.
That's just cool.
Yeah, Doc's going to give us. Is Doc gone? Did Doc leave us?
yeah, he had a early.
Oh man, I was going to get Doc to tell a story about taking out a 24-foot long parasite out of a 3-foot tall person.
Jeez.
Oh Lord.
I was going to go to bed, but you guys all made me stay up.
Yeah, I was going to go get me a peanut butter sandwich and a Coke or something, but man, this thing keeps going, don't it?
Pass your Coke over here.
Hey Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Tom, this is Bill from W.
Yeah.
I have a question. Somebody asked me what it was that you did before you. I knew you worked for who was it? FedEx, I think it was.
Yeah.
Did you? What was your capacity there? Just out of curiosity.
Oh well, I managed their. I
you
built.
say?
I built and managed their international telecommunications. I set up all their networks, computer systems, networks, telephones, radios, anything outside the United States.
Good.
Okay, you mentioned something about flying, so I mean, I was just
Yeah,
curious
yeah, we
if
flew.
you were
I would fly a lot. I mean, I was in Europe every month or so, or the Far East or somewhere. And last 10 or 15 years, made a lot of trips into all throughout South America. And of course, I had staff that worked for me, in these countries, and I'd have to go see them every now and then. They'd have to take me to dinner, and every time I'd go to Hong Kong, they'd want to take me to a real Chinese place, and I was ready for some American there's William. William made it, man. Hey, how
Bill!
you get the in-laws picked up, or whoever that was?
Oh yeah, they're here and getting some coffee and having a good chat with their grandkids.
Yeah, okay, cool. Where are they from?
Well, they're originally from Ohio, but they're from Florida. They live in Naples.
Yeah, your audio's crackling.
Let me think here.
Anybody else noticing that?
Yes.
Yeah.
How about now?
Doesn't he have one of those HAL mics?
I don't know. Yeah, he does. In fact, the mic he's using, he won it off our webcast, I think. Didn't he? Is that the one you won?
Yes.
What is it? Is that the PR10?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, sorry, I had things cranked up a little bit here, so that's probably.
Yeah, you're sounding pretty bad. Why don't you hang up and call back?
Must be one of those counterfeit tile mics. They sell those a lot in Bermuda.
Mm-hmm. All right, there he is. There he
Got
is.
one of those too.
All right, so let's see how you sound now.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, you're not crackling anymore. You're just a little low, but not crackling.
Oh, we can fix the low, so there's plenty of levels here.
What's that thing, a pie plate in front of your microphone there? Take that pie plate away and your voice will get in that mic a little better.
Yeah, I can take that away.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit louder. It's a little for a sun hat or something.
Oh, that's
like
cool, man. I need to get me one of those.
Can sit under the microphone and not get rain on me and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now I use that just for the recording stuff, so it normally just sits out of the way.
Well, we had to get you in here. Of course, you're making the show become one of the longest shows that we've done. So we've been on 3 hours tonight.
Well, we got to start over now, so you have to get caught up.
Well, we had a good group on Hangout tonight. We had, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 people at different times in here, so it's picking up.
Yeah, I didn't see Jeff on tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. I think somebody said he had to go to bed or something. He's up in New Jersey, Those guys up in New Jersey have to go to bed early.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he wasn't even on the chat room.
Yeah.
Oh, it just happens to be there.
These people are ham radio operators. I'm sorry, my 92-year-old mother asked me who I was talking to. Hi, Mom. They say hello, Mother. I got the earbuds in, so I don't bother her. She's
Well, my mom used to get in the chat room all the time. Everybody knew her as Granny, and she'd been a big part of our webcast for years now. She passed away first week of March this year, so but she was always in the chat room and always kind of followed us, I guess, to make sure we're doing okay.
And she's watching over you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. You got
went with the pipe, the cigar.
Got the pipe. I have the tobacco. I just don't have. I can't find my pipe anywhere. I saw you, and I was like, "Well, I have to do that. That won't take very long." I wasn't going to light up a cigar yet.
be right back.
I just never put stuff away. As you can see from my garage. My shack looks even worse than my garage.
I decided to get my Halo back.
You getting your what back? Oh, your Halo. There it is. Yeah, that looks great. It's so fitting.
Hey, Russ, it was you that was talking about some 30-meter digital contacts before, right?
I've run Whisper on 30 a lot.
Yeah, I just snagged Hungary and Lithuania and Puerto Rico. No, just Hungary and Lithuania on 30-meter JT65 with 5 watts. The fan's in pretty decent shape tonight.
Yeah, but you're on the East Coast, though.
Yeah. I'm a Jersey guy. You know, Marty, it was really funny. I was, if we would have had more time, Tom. Is Tom still here? Or
I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to sit there and put in there, nice shirt, by the way. I was going to put in there, hey, Marty, how much do you love JT65? That would have sent him on about a 3-hour tangent. He hates it. He goes, it is the slowest mode. I can't deal with it. Because, you know, you can see him. He's a great contester. And he's just like, biggity, 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 bang. And I like it because I sit down here in the shack, I kick my feet up on the desk, I'm watching the TV, and it's a mouse click. I'm going to have my DXCC on JT65 before I had it on my voice. But, it's a lot of fun. It's Tom, maybe I've missed a show. I know I've missed a bunch of shows, but have you ever had, is it Joe Taylor, KJ1C on?
No, I have not. But I've been wanting to do something on JT65 or some of the digital modes.
Yeah, excellent guest.
The 9s and 65 I've done a lot. Joe's from Jersey. I got into JT65 after one of our local club meetings. The guy was talking about working JT65 moon bounce. And I said, you know, I've got the signal link here and I got all this stuff here, and I had a good friend of mine, Rob, remoted in through the team viewer, and we went through some settings and figured out what was wrong. It's different.
Yeah.
You know, there's I think Russ, or that wasn't Russ. Somebody else was mentioning, there was a lot of people that worked RIDI for the big DXpeditions, and they were having better luck with it. And and I think
that's my favorite mode, I think.
I'm having a hard time getting RIDI to work properly on my end. I don't know why, but it's, with JT65, since I'm using the signal link, I have to change my internal card settings, and I got to tweak with this. And by the time I get on, so to speak, and start decoding RIDI, the band dies.
Eric, I was just curious. Do you have to reduce your power?
Yes, since I've got the TS2000, I just crank it down. I think when I'm on RIDI or PSK, someone told me it only run like 30 watts. For JT65, you really, it's kind of hit or miss. I mean, there's all sorts of people out there that say you only want to run 5 watts, and there's some that say you want to run 20. I've actually seen guys openly admit they run 100 watts on it. And the problem with that is that, when you look at your waterfall, you just start splattering the heck out of everybody. But, for JT65, I don't run more than 15 watts. And then for, the PSKs and the RIDIs, I think for RIDI, when I was trying for, I think, Wanda Nova, somebody told me, go ahead and push the 100 watts, because you're going to need it. Because but there's guys that run 30 meters RIDI, and they're using full amplifiers, and if you remember, 30 meters is 100 watts only, like 60 meters.
Yeah, I think it's 200 watts
200
peak
watts.
on 30.
Usually, for like full duty cycle modes like RIDI and PSK31, I generally run about 35 watts. It's more than effective.
Yeah. 1 watt. 1 watt all the time.
1 watt?
1 watt.
Nice.
All right, guys, I'm going to get off here and go get a snack and eat something. You like my new shirt?
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
I didn't get a bazinga out of Russ.
We'll see you next week sometime.
Take care, Tom.
All right, guys, we'll see you. Good night.
Have a great
Good night,
week.
Tom.
Tom.